gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́ nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́ mo pera mi padà ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́ ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọba ò lè sọ ìjòyè lè sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣe wọn àwọn ará pẹ̀lú wọn àwọn àgbà tán bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ á dàlúrú a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́ mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá big man ni mi àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀ pé sọ́wọ́ ni mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́ mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ kí n wọ gbowó kí n gbéra kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀ kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀ kí Fúlàní mọ́ dá mi dúró títì kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́ wọn ò lè lódò ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
That's all.
But there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway,
the important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof,
she has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegalities. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it.
Prof,
and we think it is criminal.
Prof,
and so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Prof, you are a strong member.
You cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to self-determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you are a strong member of the Unity Party of Nigeria, also a very strong member of Afenifere. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, in these two ideological positions?
Yes. our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing, talking about restructuring so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians. They still have a right to come to Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, where to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that Tinubu is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. You are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our...
Well, Prof, let me ask you this. Self-determination, you
are entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your opinion, but what I'm saying is that your opinion rigorously avoids the truth. Rigorously.
But Prof,
avoids the truth.
Nigeria, as Onigo Tite told us in his research on ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, has over 300 ethnic nationalities. Will you recommend self-determination to all the other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria? For all these nationalities to break away?
Those who want it, don't ask me a general question. I'm asking for self-determination for a nation, the Yoruba nation. There are about 60 million people in Nigeria. And their territory is large enough to be a large country. So that's what I'm talking about. Any other nationality in Nigeria that wants self-determination is free to ask for it. I cannot come and ask for self-determination for nations that are not mine. No.
Well, Prof, as we have this, we're having this conversation.
That's all right. Masquerade from entering Yoruba. Police bar Igbo masquerade from entering Yoruba indigenous land of Lagos, citing cultural sensitivity, security concerns. December 5, 2024. The Lagos State Police Commissioner CP Ishola Olanrewaju Olawale has prohibited the Ajofia Inewe masquerade from entering Lagos for the Igbo festival, citing concerns over public safety and potential breach of peace. This decision was made during a meeting between Igbo stakeholders in Lagos and the police commissioner. The Ajofia Inewi masquerade, notoriously referred to as the Igbo forest, holds significant cultural and traditional value in Igbo city. A video of a traditional Igbo man who said the masquerade Ajo Ofia Inewi is making its way to Lagos December 12, 2024. However, its proposed appearance in Lagos has been met with strong opposition from various Yoruba communities in the state who have expressed concerns, reservations about its presence. CP Oluwole explained that residents, including Indigenous, were uncomfortable with the masquerade present in Lagos after a group boasted about unleashing mayhem. He played a video recording of the masquerade performing rituals which raised suspicions about their intentions. The police commissioner emphasized that every tribe has its own masquerade operating within their tribe, and that Ajofia is an Igbo masquerade that should not come to Lagos State, which is another tribe. Eze Iwachuku responded on behalf of Indigo, thanked the CP for the meeting and acknowledged the message. Despite Eze Iwachuku emphasized on peaceful nature of the festival featuring the Ajofia Inewi masquerade in Lagos, indigenous people of the state have expressed strong objections to his appearance, citing concerns that could pose a risk to individuals who are unfamiliar with the traditional significance and cultural context of the masquerade. According to the report, in Igbo mythology, the Ajofia Inewi masquerade is believed to possess spiritual powers which can be unsettling for those who do not understand or share the same cultural beliefs. Furthermore, the masquerade name Igbo forest evokes a sense of mystery and foreboding which can be intimidating to those who are unfamiliar with its cultural significance. The Ajofia Inewi masquerade is traditionally not performed in front of women, which can create an air of mystery and exclusivity around the masquerade. The masquerade performs often involve elaborate rituals and ceremonies which can be perceived as dangerous or threatening by those who do not understand their cultural context. Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep the 5th of December 2024. From our studio here, that is the development. Fáǹfààní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá láǹfààní àti gbọ́ ohun tí a kéde ni pé ìyẹn àwọn Ìgbò tán ní wọ́n máa gbé egúngún wọlé sí ìlú Èkó ní ọjọ́ 12 oṣù 12 ọdún 2024. Ọlọ́pàá Lagos State ìyẹn Commissioner for Police CP Ìṣọ̀lá Ọlánrewájú Ọláwálé ó ní Ajofia Inewi masquerade yìí kò ní lè wọ ìlú Èkó nítorí pé lóòótọ́ Igbo festival ni wọ́n fẹ́ lò fún, àmọ́ fún àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù àti àwọn aráàlú ó máa mú security àti safety potential breach fún tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe yẹn. Ó wá ní ìpàdé yìí tí wọ́n ṣe láàrin àwọn àti Ìgbò nílùú Èkó, òun ni pé arákùnrin tó náà ń gbé Ajofia Inewi wá sí ìlú Èkó ní ọjọ́ 12 oṣù 12 ọdún 2024 yìí, wọn ò ní lè jẹ́ kó gbé wá o, pé kí gbogbo ọmọ ìlú Èkó kó lọ fi ọkàn balẹ̀ pé egúngún yìí kò ní wọ ìlú Èkó nítorí pé Ajofia yìí ilẹ̀ Ìgbò ni ó dẹ̀ náwọn ètùtù tó ń ṣe fún àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ mọ ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ gbé wá sí ìlú Èkó. Koiki Media òun ni eléyìí ti jáde ní yàjóyàjó, ẹ bá wa pín káàkiri o.
Offering special services. Gatwick Express, Southeastern, Southern, Thames Link are all offering, and they are experiencing minor delays there as well. That aside, all the others have good services. So please check before you leave so you don't miss your appointment. But it is Star Radio UK at 11 o'clock exactly. And let me see whether I can bring you some of the excerpts of what is happening. From Nigeria, at least 10,000 people have died in military custody since the Boko Haram conflict in northeast Nigeria began. Human rights group Amnesty International said on Thursday. Now, Nigerian man 39 sentenced to 8 years in U.S. prison for cyber fraud. And Laser fever kills 23 people in 2024. And then other stories as well. For a teaming, Afe Babalola justified suit as group plans protest. The Take It Back movement convened by the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyole Sowore, has begun mobilization for protest in Ekiti, Lagos, Abuja, and London as a group plans to. So yeah, we'll tell you more about all that. Don't you worry about it at all. And then some other stories. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the release of funds for the payment of pension arrears, salary increases, and other entitlements owed to retired military personnel after a peaceful protest at Abuja, in Abuja at the Ministry of Finance's offices. Okay, so we'll see more from that front. So coming your way from Star Radio UK. In Africa, or still on the African front, opposition parties in Namibia contest SWAPO's victory in presidential elections. Although Ntembo Nandi Ndaitwah could become the country's first female president, calls from the opposition to annul the election results arrived, and we will see. In other stories, I only accept election results if they are transparent and fair. Who is speaking? That is the former president and flag bearer of the NDC, Mahama. Okay, now still on. Short validation stamps are unwrapped just before voting on Mane Buama to NDC executives. Well, it is all easier said than done because they are the place where, predominantly, it is in the stronghold of a particular party. Can you tell somebody to do something else? It's difficult to do so. But we'll see about all that as everything unfolds. Now, NDC Akati North Secretary denies arrest over dummy ballot papers. Okay, we'll see about that. The Ghana Police commends MPP, NDC, and the public for peaceful final rallies. Yeah, yesterday I was concerned about those rallies that were going to be taking place, one in Medina and one in Legon, and the proximity, and I was thinking, what was all that about? However, it's gone on, or it's gone through, or gone by peacefully, and therefore, we hope that the election also goes by peacefully. We'll see, or we'll tell you more about all of that in a moment. Is he a prosecutor? Some Ghanaians react to NDC's appointment of Basinteo to lead ORA. We'll be telling you more about that. Special voting records, high voter turnout nationwide. That's what Jane Mensah is saying. Star Radio UK in other parts of the world as well. As I did say, as we're getting ourselves ready for Mr. Koiki to join in. Thousands flee Syrian city Homs as rebels advance further, and South Korea president ordered arrest of own party leader. It doesn't fail to surprise me there. A new photos released as NYPD enhanced insurance boss killer. Now, why did the person go on? And if you look and listen to the stories, the bullet is, inscribed on it. That is his mind or his thought why he did so. Well, when you have the insurance companies, oh boy, when they are selling the policy, heaven and earth, they'll promise you. The moment something happens and now you need to cash out, oh boy, you don't want to know. Then they'll throw in everything. Did you see that small print there and that one, all the clauses to make sure they frustrate you. Maybe the guy was frustrated. They've not arrested him yet. But if he has, what actually pushed him to that? We'll be telling you more about that. Bishop Adeshina, massive good morning to you, my bishop. And kudos to you too for the good work that you are doing there as well. And to all your colleagues at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria, we salute you. And thank you very much for joining in. Star Radio UK. We should have Mr. Koiki joining in any moment from now. He says, my regards Yes, Bishop Adesina and the entire crew of the RBE. RBE is RBE. How did I say RBS? RBE Virtual Bank, making Yoruba Nation Ruba currency proud and stable. It is Star Radio UK, RBE. All of you there, your colleagues there, we salute each and every one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, is going straight to Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in, and I can tell you, we've got things for you. It's going to be wutu, 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 wutu. I know he says that. All right then. Yomi, good morning. Good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and a very good morning to all our listeners around the globe. And welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, where myself and Archie will be taking you to some of the development and the news and the update coming from Nigeria, both home and abroad in Africa, Asia. It is the 6th and the 12th of December. It's coming up to 4 minutes past 11. There's quite a lot of lineup, but let me return back to the studio where myself and Archie, we'll be looking into, so much to discuss this morning. But let me come back again to you, Mr. Archie.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Olaimiko again, our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria on the Star Radio UK morning show. So thank you very much to all of you listening to us, viewing us on the sister broadcast station, the Yoruba Nation, Koiki Media, and those of you, the Biafra, the United States of Biafra followers there as well. We salute each and every one of you. We are here as a voice or a platform. If you want your voice to be heard, or you have a product, you have a service, you want it, reach out, feel free, get in touch with us, and we'll do the same for you. All right then, Yomi, how are you? How is the family? How is the preparation? I know the Christmas preparation is going on seriously. The kids, they don't care about whether daddy's got money, mommy's got money. They want what they want. Tell me more about that before we come to Nigeria.
Well, you're quite right. I'm sure quite a lot of us will be looking at our paycheck and then asking how do we split it out in the winter where, you have to increase, more heating. The children start telling you their demands. Even the elderly one might also start telling you that, it's time for them, to learn how to drive or to do their hair. If you have the female one, and the younger ones just want to get that toys. And it seems that Christmas is one time that comes once in a year. Regardless of whether you're Christian, Muslim, or atheist, it is when they say you're alive, you just have to celebrate wherever you are because nobody knows what happened the next day. But at least from my house, we are getting ready. I can tell you right in front of me, the Christmas tree is already up.
Ah, that's good. But again, can we say that about Nigeria? That is the question. Can we say that about African countries where our leaders, you go to their houses, everything is fine. But you go to majority of the people, even what they have to eat today, they're not sure about that. But you got a picture in your background. No, go on first.
Yeah, and and that will link us straight to Davido because Davido is again speaking out. It seems that we need more of them, to speak out. In terms of and quickly the exchange rate this morning dropped to 2,000 naira, to £1, and that means 25 pounds will give us let's say about almost 20 pounds multiplied by 2,000. Will give us about 15 pounds precisely is the price of a full whole chicken, in Nigeria. And it depends on, what part of Nigeria. So if you look at 15 pounds, that's about almost $13. And in a country where, a dollar, is where many Nigerians struggle to feed on, according to the World Bank. And that takes me straight to Davido this morning because Davido seems to be telling the world a little bit about Nigeria, but Nigerians are not pleased with it. About a week ago, Nigeria, went to attack Davido for advising whether it is wrong or not. I don't know, but it depends on what you look at because we're going to be talking about the insecurity. Last week, when Davido had an interview and talked about Nigerians or Africans not to return back to Nigeria because of the situation in the country. That means that Davido is now telling the world the situation in Nigeria. So 2 weeks ago, and I'll see if I can get the soundtrack, but also I'll be telling you there's a development from the the CSO, Ngozi, the Chief of Staff of the Biafra, will be with us on Monday. That has been confirmed, but we're going to be talking about that later. 2 weeks ago, Davido says, and I quote, Tinubu's inflation not leaving America, things are not going well in Nigeria. The Nigerian superstar David Adeleke, aka Davido, says, and I quote, Nigeria's economy is in shambles with the messed up in the currency exchange. That means that people like Davido, as much as they are wealthy, are spending more dollars, to be able to fund whatever the lifestyle they are producing in the country. And that also means that, the government came for him. Many people came for him. Leave America, go where? In broken English, Davido says. To be honest, it is not cool back home. It is extremely hot back home. The economy is in shambles. I do my part as I am an ambassador. When I go home, I'll probably not film where things are not going well. But this morning again, Davido seems to be telling Nigeria that we lack the good leader. And the headline is coming from all round the clock, says, what Nigerian lack is good leaders, coming from Davido Adeleke. The Nigerian superstar says, and I quote, that has emphasized the critical role of effective leadership in driving Nigeria and Africa to the greater height.
Well, Davido is saying it. Let's see what others are thinking about it. But let me say good morning to Gloria Jackson all the way. Gloria, I hope you're listening to us from Jamaica, right? I think yesterday or the day before you did say that. So to all of our listeners in Jamaica this morning, I salute each and every one of you. Of course, across the globe, Anthony Adedeji in the US, Aziz, a good morning to you all there. All right then. Now, we talk about good leadership. We talk about insecurity, but Boko Haram terrorist group have committed military committed war crimes in northeast Nigeria, says Amnesty International. They are talking about the fact that about 10,000 people have died in military custody since the Boko Haram conflict in northeastern Nigeria began. Human rights group Amnesty International said on Thursday. Interestingly, when it comes to, when there is war or there are wars or when we arrest somebody, here they'll tell you the human rights of the person, and therefore you don't see them beating the security agencies, beating the person up to say they want to extract information or intel from the person. But back home, oh boy, the way the military or this, they will slap you and your head will be spinning before what you've not even done, you'll be saying it. So they are talking about the fact that about 10,000, that means Boko Haram affiliates or some of them have died. How true is that?
Could it be, again, leadership? And, when you have the right leadership, you would then be able to do exactly what you have to do. But let's now listen to the sound clip from Davido himself.
We can't go forward without the best leaders first. That's the most important thing I feel. I feel like Nigerians, we adapt. So that already shows you that. Like I tell people, I say, if you can survive in Lagos, or you can survive in Nigeria, rather, you can survive anywhere. I feel like we're survivors. We're strong-willed people. I just feel the only thing is just missing is just the right leaders to lead us. Nigeria, if you go anywhere in the world, everybody has Nigerian friends. Whether you're Chinese or you have Nigerian friends. Everywhere in the world I fly to that I do shows. Nigerian restaurant did there, Nigerian community did there. So it just shows that we're just a force. So I think, leadership is one of the main things. And I feel like once we get that right, I don't think there's anything that will stop us.
Are we ever going to get that right is the next question. And that takes us straight to Amnesty this morning, releasing another, one that the government might not be pleased with. Insecurity, 10,000 have died in Nigerian military custody. One of the biggest things that many people were concerned is the human right of Nigerians. Remember that we are talking about the injustice that are perpetrated on many innocent people by the military. We talked about this, the security checkpoint in the southeast part of the country. But this morning, Amnesty International has alleged that nothing less than 10,000 Nigerians have died in the custody of the Nigerian army since the Boko Haram conflict began in the northeast. The organization country director Issa Sanusi disclosed this in Maiduguri, one of the hotbed of Boko Haram Fulani terrorist attack in the country, accused Boko Haram and the military of many abuses. It's not just the Boko Haram and the Lakarua, the ISWAP that are abusing innocent Nigerians. Even the military itself has violated the rules of engagement while carrying out the assignment. We've seen the bombardment of different communities, and you might be thinking, why could this be happening? He regretted how the military denied involvement in his personnel in the atrocity after being served with the amnesty report. Sanusi announced that the human rights body has already filed case before the International Court of Justice, ICJ, at Hague over the alleged crimes against humanity. But the problem is, some of these ICJ takes years to look into the perpetrated crime, like the one that the former President Muhammadu Buhari committed in Nigeria against the indigenous people, when he said to the southeast, red in the cycle in the dot, and as he also invaded Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho's house to an assassination attempt. The Yoruba leader took him to the same ICC, but we still have to wait, even though they've acknowledged the letter.
Well, human rights. Do we have rights when we are in Africa? Is there a proper rule of law? We talk about democracy, we talk about rule of law, blah, blah, blah. But when it gets to the nitty-gritty, you say that nothing of the sort is happening. Shemeyu Adeyemi, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. He said he's listening to us from Washington, D.C. Hey, that means that you've not slept. Good dawn to you, my brother. I hope you are doing very, very well. Okay. Well, listeners, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mr. Olaimi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we are bringing you all that you need to know when it comes to the issues going on in Nigeria at the moment. Now, let's move on. Take It Back movement convened by the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Oluwole Sowore, has begun mobilizing for protests in Ekiti, Lagos, Abuja. Now, Yomi, I remember what brought about Sowore's arrest then during Buhari's time.
I think he just loved to be arrested all the time anyway. Sowore is our good friend on the network here.
Yeah,
so he loves to be arrested because he flew out of America. Even after he left Nigeria, to return back, he was almost detained at the airport. There was hulala. He was left, but it seems that he's calling for another, protest that might be coming up on the 10th, which is 4 days from now. The question is, what is the reason behind these new protests? The reason is got to do with the Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi that we talked about it yesterday. And this is generating a lot, the defamation of character, is it right to be done? Well, some says that since, the book itself was read all over the world, that means, Afe Babalola have the right to bring him to Ekiti State where judgment needs to be served. But people like Sowore think that the authority, especially the police, are being used to square things out. But it looks like Afe Babalola is the one on the left-hand side of the screen, and Dele Farotimi is the one on the right-hand side. So what is now being put together by the Take It Back is what they called a day of protest, in solidarity for, they say, injustice to one is injustice to all. The founder of Afe Babalola University at Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on Thursday dismissed insulation that he was using his clout to deal with the human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi, who an Ekiti State Magistrate Court remanded on Wednesday. This was a group where Take It Back movement convened by the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Oluwole Sowore, has now begun mobilization for protests in Ekiti State, Lagos State, Abuja State. You might be wondering why they want to bring the protest to London as well. Afe Babalola donated £10,000 to King's College. It looks like King's College must be preparing for the showdown on the 10th of this month, which is just 4 days from now. But the police in Ekiti State stated in the state had followed
a petition written by Afe Babalola where Farotimi was arrested in Lagos. A lot of people thought it was another kidnap like Nnamdi Kanu, but it seems that Dele Farotimi is now in the custody and the Coronation Center in Ekiti State. So it's not a kidnap case.
Okay, it's not a kidnap case, but what case is against Farotimi?
Well, the case against Farotimi has got to do with his book, and it seems that the book is now fast selling on the Amazon. From the information that we have, the book has got to do with what he stated about Afe Babalola making the case about regarding the Supreme Court and how the Supreme Court has been used as an abuse. So Dele Farotimi book, like I said, as of yesterday, is now ranking the bestseller on Amazon, and it seems that many people that never knew about the book are now finding out more about the book. But the 93-year-old senior advocate of Nigeria alleged being accused in the book of compromising the Nigerian judiciary instance of alleged misconduct and legal figures. Although the book recorded the low sales initially, it seems that the arrest has pushed more people buying because people are saying, I don't have evidence of that, but that's what people are saying, that it seems that Afe Babalola wants to clear all the books out of the shelf so that nobody has any copy of it.
Now, it's interesting because if he has written a book and he has said something about you and you think that what he said is not true, yeah, you go to the court. But why is the court not granting Farotimi bail? Why are they not granting him bail? And why are they using some ninja style stuff to go and or Rambo style to just outwit him? I think we live in a military era. So somebody says that, oh, we are living in a democracy. Now, if I say something and you think that you don't like it, take it to the court. Now, am I maligning you? Is it malice? Is it what? Then we come out and then we look at it. But what they are doing now, it looks like back in the day when it was a military rule, right?
Well, we are not in the military rule, and that is where, as much as abuse of power continue to be peddled against innocent Nigerians. You're right. I mean, the title of the book is Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, where, allegation of defamation of character against these. Well, it seems that, Afe Babalola, might say, how Dele Farotimi defame me, regarding some of what he wrote in the book. And rather than what Nigerians will expect to be done properly, it seems that he will say, well, I've reported a case, the police have picked him up. But in terms of who gets bail or not, we do know that sometimes, the paddy and that kicks in from underneath, especially Afe Babalola is a very strong person, not just in Nigeria, like it says, across the globe.
Well, defamation, does it require somebody not getting bail? And does it require people using Rambo style? Well, with what they are doing now, they've automatically publicized Farotimi's book, and virtually that's why it is just going off the shelf when it comes to Amazon. But if you have not gotten it, get it and let me have a read as well. It will be quite interesting. Vicky Newton, good morning to you. Now, yesterday we did talk about the fact that the military pensioners had encamped around the Minister of Finance office in the federal capital. But now the president had come out quickly to say, come on, he's releasing funds for these people. So they had the money and yet they were doing that. Is that what they are doing?
Well, at least, it seems yesterday you were asking me if any development or any update was coming from the federal government regarding, the military personnel, those retirees that, money has not been given to them. But the news coming this morning seems that, Tinubu doesn't want any confrontation with the retiree, and he has now, asked that money should be released as quickly as possible, for these retiree pensioner. And I think that is a great news, from the presidency. So what do we know? Tinubu orders release of funds for payment of retired Nigerian military personnel who has shut down the finance ministry. As we said yesterday, some of them came with their beddings, their mat, canopies, and they believe that they're not going anywhere until the government speaks to them. retired soldiers under the group of Coalition of Concerned Veterans, CCV, had carried out a 2-day protest over the non-payment of 20% and 28% increment for 11 months in the federal capital. President Tinubu has now ordered the release of funds for the payment of pension arrears, salary increase, other entitlement owed to retired military personnel after a peaceful protest. So maybe sometimes, doing that peaceful protest is worth looking into.
Well, we'll have to look into that. But Bishop Adesina has commented. He said that the Afe Babalola is not even in government, but a former senior advocate. So that means that he's trying to use his connections and influence, though he's not in government, but still I'll get the military or the police to do something to you, and then I'll get the courts to keep you in there. Well. How fair is fair? Vicky Newton, good morning to you once again. Okay, Yomi, let me allow you to now bring us the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, we're getting a report coming out this morning from Nigeria, where one of the renowned Islamic scholar has passed on. We'll be giving you details about that. Well popular within the the southwest part of the Nigerian community, and also many of the diaspora that probably are waking up around the world. I can confirm officially now that Islamic scholar Muhyiddin Bello is dead. May so rest in peace. The Muslim community has been thrown into mourning following the passing, of one of his most revered figures, Alhaji Muhyiddin Bello. Born in 1914 in Ibadan, Alhaji Bello was widely respected for his profound teachings, unwavering dedication to Islamic scholarship. The announcement of his demise was made by another prominent Islamic scholar, Afar Arid Bidasi of Al-Tawhid Islamic Dawah, this Friday morning. Collaborating the news of the diminished popular cleric and the follower of the late Bello, who is also an Islamic singer, Alhaji Basit Olarewaju, popular known as Akwanle Anobi, also shared the image of the 84-year-old scholar with tearful emojis, as we say, may so rest in peace. So quite a lot going on in Ibadan, in Oyo State this morning of these scholars. May so rest in peace. Let's come back to some of the other news coming out of Nigeria this morning again, as we go back to the insecurity. How soon can these government treat insecurity? We've talked about the Amnesty International, but as we also can confirm that other development is happening. Before we go back to Nigeria, let's take you outside Nigeria, because we know how cyber fraud affects people. But this morning, a Nigerian national in the United States has been sentenced to cyber fraud in New Haven in Connecticut. We know that many Nigerians, are involved in this particular crime. He's 39 years old. What do we know? They use witting and unwitting money moves to receive fraud proceeds in their bank account, and then either transfer those funds from the money mole account to account under the co-conspirators' control, or converted the stolen proceeds to cash for further transfer, according to the court document and statement in the court. Over the 3 years long operation of the scheme, you can see how Americans around the world, tell these individuals for a very long time until they are nipped out of the board. Numerous victims were tricked into transferring funds into the bank account the victim believed were under the control of legitimate recipients as part of a normal business operation. If it's not true to be, do not even go there, because you could also find yourself in some of these situations. Let's go back to, again, sad development from Ebonyi State this morning, as the Lassa fever kills 23 people in 2024 in Nigeria, according to Ebonyi State Governor. At least 394 suspected cases of Lassa fever were recorded in Nigeria, eastern state of Ebonyi, from January to date. The state government says yesterday no fewer than 48 cases were confirmed from the suspected case, out of which 23 people passed on. The disease, where 25 were discharged. Governor Francis in Furu, announced in the state capital Abakaliki at the official sign-off and handover ceremony of the Medicine Sans Frontier Lassa fever support activities in the particular state. Let's come back to more protest. Again, where is it happening? Maybe after this protest in 2 days, the president will release money. Protesters have stormed Nigeria's parliament, opposed establishment of Nigerian Coast Guard. What do we know and what is it all about? Hundreds of activists, including youth, women from different parts of Nigeria, stormed the National Assembly in Abuja on Thursday to express their strong opposition to the Coastal Guard Establishment Bill. The bill that was sponsored by Senator Wasiu Eshinlokon, APC Lagos, seeks to create a dedicated Nigerian Coast Guard responsible for securing the Nigerian maritime zone. Some civil society organizations had argued that the bill is an attempt to amend the Nigerian constitution through the back door. You see, the problem that we have in Nigeria is when the senators do not allow the public forum, the public debate before they go into their chamber and try to amend and change the constitution. Buhari tried, to make, the waterways and forced everyone on it, the Ruga and many other situations. But it seems that some of these protesters think that the Nigerian constitution is being amended through the back door by creating another arm of the armed forces. The one that the bill will lead to proliferation of armed forces in Nigeria, a situation which they say could escalate in security in the country. At exactly 11:30, as we continue to look into some of the news development, as we talked about death in Nigeria by the Nigerian military, Delta Okuma community leader Pa Ogoroko was tortured to death in the Nigerian military detention. Many Nigerians are in detention, and you might wonder, what this government would have to do to review, the prisons across the country and find out who is innocent and why they've been spending 2-3 years without even being taken to court, while we have criminals that are moving around in SUV and even ordering food from abroad. What do we know about this story? The detained President General of Okuma community in Ugali South local government area of Delta State, Nigeria, Pa James Achowuko Ogoro is dead. And there's the picture next to the screen on your left-hand side. Ogoro, one of the community leaders, was arrested by the Nigerian military since August 2024 this year, reportedly died in the military detention on Wednesday this week following excessive torture, alleged inhumane treatment, according to the investigative news outlets. Pa Ogoroko death was announced yesterday by the leaders of the Okuma at the emergency meeting at the community. The community leaders also decried that another detained leader, Pa Dennis Okubaye, is presently battling with a life-threatening ailment. These are the tensions that many are experiencing on a daily basis. Some of them are being dealt with by the military. We've seen the police being dealt with as well. But for how long can we continue to see innocent Nigerians? And even some of these do not believe that Nigeria needs to be de-amalgamated, like those that believe in the de-amalgamation, of Nigeria to have their own independent, sovereign state, according to the United Nations, article. But again, as usual, you can see that injustice to one. And we hope that the country, the president and the authority, the chief of staff, will be looking into this particular development. Local security guard fake own kidnap in Nigeria. It seems that kidnapping is a big business. So if you can come out and say, well, I've been kidnapped, people can donate money and you can go on a different lifestyle. But that will send a different signal to many that are kidnapped officially, and we might not know whether you are kidnapped or not. So what do we know about this story development this morning? A man has now been arrested for allegedly faking his own kidnap in Nigerian southern state of Edo. Akpo Ede, a 35-year-old local security guard at the rubber estate in Oshe River, Ofia Southwest local government area of the state, was nabbed by the operatives of the Southwest security outfit codenamed Amotekun after he demanded 50 million naira as a ransom from his employer. I come back again to imagine if I have to go on a kidnap spree and I have to tell Star Radio UK to pay £10,000. That's the equivalent of what we're witnessing in Nigeria. So it looks like austerity is pushing people to all manners of crime, but this should not be something that Nigerians should go into.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Star Radio UK, Mr. Olaimi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the Stars studios, and quite interesting updates from Nigeria. The person who wants money, Abi, is desperate. Desperate measures, desperate situation calls for desperate measures. But we're going to be going to the United States of Biafra. We're going to go to that place. But there was one other story that talked about was that this, the CDS is saying that they need more than military action to attain national security. And it's quite, so is it, what do they really want to do now? Do they want to have, yesterday we did talk about that. We're talking about the fact that even those who are informants to the security agencies, how protected are they? How well protected are they? Or like we saw in the Southeast where somebody informed the security agencies, they came and whatever, attack these people, finish them, and then the next moment when the military or the security agencies left, then they came back knowing that it's that person, whether it was him or not, killed the person or arrested, whatever they've done with the person. So what is the CDS saying there?
Well, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has stressed that the military actions alone cannot achieve national security in Nigeria, and that is a big one. We have talked about it. If Nigerians are not given the leverage, to communicate and give intel about, insecurity within their areas, whether it's a low crime, high crime, then it will be that the Nigeria security will still be something that will not be resolved even with this administration. According to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to him, military action is just only 30% of what is needed to attain the national security, while the remaining 70% depends on a political, social, economic intervention. General Musa stated this at the roundtable discussion. The problem we have is many roundtable discussions went through Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo. It was a total chaos, a total failure, because the former military general could not even protect his own state, where we saw attacks and multiple attacks within the surroundings. So the CD who spoke on the team, the national security and the national interest. How many Nigerians still have the interest in Nigeria to report things that will be of the national security for every one of us, especially when you have porous borders? We have people that are, moving in large quantity, and people have reported them, and the community get destroyed. It seems that somebody within the military itself, as the late Malafia says, Nigeria remain that crime scene. And when we go back to listen to somebody like, T.Y. Danjuma, it tells you that if you still rely on the Nigerian military, T.Y. Danjuma told us this many years ago, that do not, and this is exactly what T.Y. Danjuma told us some approximately few years back during a gathering somewhere in Plateau State, I guess, and the sound clip for that is this.
I warned that the armed forces are either not capable or unwilling to protect us, and that we must defend ourselves. The first denial of what I said came from the Ministry of Defense. They said I was lying. And they set up a kangaroo board of inquiry to investigate the truth or otherwise of what I spoke. And they invited me to come and testify. I did not go.
report which said that I was only speculating, that there was no evidence. And now there is evidence. The whole country now is being run and overrun. They are trying to recolonize us and take over our land. Can I allow you to defend yourselves?
And that was T.Y. Danjuma re-emphasized that even though he was called, he never even answered the, whoever was calling it. Imagine if this calling was from Southeast or the Southwest, you are being called and you are not answering to that call. You can imagine what would have happened. You would have been hearing python dance and crocodile movement and all kind of invasion to people where we looks like much more, the other ones are more superior because you just had him saying that he was called and invited.
Yeah, he didn't. And
he doesn't even could not be bothered.
Yeah, for sure. So if some people in the Southeast or the Southwest are saying that, look, we think you are being marginalized, then do you think they are lying? Well, Ngozi has finally spoken. The chief of staff of the Biafra, United States of Biafra in exile has spoken. Now, I was asking the question, whilst I was pondering on it, I was asking the question, has any country acknowledged them?
Well, that is something that, they would have to work on, quickly. And, by Monday, because I have been able to get what I can call an official confirmation from the government of the Biafra on the USB that she would appear. And I'm just trying, to bring, because we have to, change the background so that people might not think that the person we're talking about is the one behind, that she would be available to speak with us on the question that you've just asked regarding, the government in exile, what they are planning, what next, the countries that we have to give them the recommendation and all that. So we've been able to secure, the chief of staff, Ngozi Orabo Eze, will speak to Star Radio UK at 11 a.m. London time in the morning on Monday. So make sure you tune in, and there will be quite a lot of lineup to, what she might be able to share with us, especially, development with the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and what next for the government after the beautiful outfit from what we saw in Finland. So let me come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Okay. So as Yomi has said, prepare yourself. God willing, Monday, if we are still alive, yes, which I believe God will keep us, we'll be bringing you Ngozi, who is the chief of staff of the USB. When I say USB, United States of Biafra, and be telling us more on that front. Okay. Yomi, any other stories, and what is happening on the social media before you go, sir?
Well, the social media is always busy. Let's look at some of the headline. Real Yoruba says, are we ready? The more we believe in one Nigeria, the more life will continue to get worse. Option is Yoruba nation. Second option is Tinubu. But we must let him know that he will be there to break I can't use the other word, Yoruba nation, no going back. More other development as we are talking about, the situation in Finland. You might also want to know that today is Finland Independence Day, but it seems that, Finland is holding to, the PM of the Biafra government in exile, Simon Ekpa. So we see how that developed as well. I'm looking at another very important figure in Nigeria. She's no longer in Nigeria because of, again, threat to life and the current injustice in the country. We're talking about Dr. Kemi Lawrence. She has been very, advocate of the injustice cartel on the people known as the southeastern part of the country, as again, many would also be looking at some of the other areas. She has also been talking about the 6 individuals that got missing in Nigeria, in Lagos State till date. Nobody knows their location, and it seems that no inquiry, no investigation is going on. And what she posted again about yesterday, power is temporarily. The power you are drunk on today ends next week. Afe Babalola versus Dele Farutimi, hashtag judicial terrorism. That's the way she put it. And let's take one or two more from the development on Nigeria this morning, as many Nigerians continue to use the only platform. Remember that we still have those that are still, with the bringing on the Constitution. Indidi Uwuchukwu says the colonizer is nothing but a thief and a murderer. These are part of the, the Ninas. Is the right transition for union reconfiguration. Tony Namdi. Remember that the Yoruba was working with him, in 2021 until the pathway apart each other. So again, as I come back to you for the weekend, NNPC says they began export of Port Harcourt refinery, and people that are buying it at Dubai firm will be the one to buy first. Again, as usual, there's all kind that come out, and the reaction on that is, how is Dubai buying the first cargo instead of serving the local market? I don't understand this country. And the person has, the emblem, the coat of arms of Nigeria on his Twitter status, and you can tell that a lot of Nigerians wondering, how would Dubai be the one to force to buy when the local are not buying? But it's in Nigeria, they say everything goes.
Well, it's quite an interesting one. You want to know more? You have to stay with us every weekday from 10:30 right down to when the program finishes, and we'll be telling you everything. Yomi, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful update.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be back on the Monday morning for the more news update on the network. But stay with us over the weekend. My name is Koiki, and thank you so much, Mr. Archie, and all our listeners from different part of the globe this morning and the afternoon, wherever you are, because Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of us. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Okay, that has been Mr. Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Star Radio UK. 13 minutes to 12. We've got lots to bring your way before we bring the curtain down. Let me announce that the lines are open. If you want to hop in, feel free to do so. Call us on 0208 133 225.
Happy Friday. Mo kí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa pé ṣe dáadáa ní àtúnláǹfààní àti pàdé lénìí. Mo máa kí yín pé a kú ọlá Jímọ̀, àdẹ̀kù bí ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú wa tí gbogbo ẹ̀rí bó ṣe rí bó ṣe ń lọ. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn wa tí ẹ tún láǹfààní àti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì wa. Mo kí wa pé thank you so much for joining us on the Friday. Netomoke Abdullahi, Kunle Shita, and everyone that have joined us as we've just completed the first hour on the Star Radio. And like we said, the Chief of Staff of the Biafra government in exile will be with us Monday morning, God willing, where we will be looking at, some of the development from their end. But we are still here on the Yoruba Nation campaign. And we will continue to use our platform to educate and give, hopefully the presidency will listen to us, which is the key. We want the presidency to listen to us so that we can be able, to have a peaceful dissolution of Nigeria. We'll keep up our current week. Don Kelvin, shout out to you, and many more that have joined us as well. Well, as you all know, what we do here is talk about Yoruba nation, and that is the only thing we'll talk about. And many people do not know what Yoruba nation is all about. So it's all about the right of the Yoruba people to exit Nigeria. It's not calling for war. It's not, calling to anything more than the right. So if you're one of those that have never loved what we do for whatever reason, it's understandable. And we cannot, think more than why you don't want it to happen in your lifetime. But why we want it to happen in our lifetime, we will not stop engaging the federal government peacefully. Because some might say it has to be violent, but we believe that it can still be done peacefully, which is the reason why we are doing what we are doing. I'm doing some movement as we are moving things. It's a mobile studio. I'm sure most of you know that. And so that means that after the Star Radio UK, I move things around and we adjust things as well. The 1999 Constitution is a fraud. It doesn't support the Yoruba. It doesn't support any Nigerians. And that is the reason why. So let me appreciate us again this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are watching this platform. If you are new to this platform, help us to share our program and invite others to join us as well. What we do here is all about, discussion of, I think you just put it, happy the Naira is gaining value. Really? Well, I think it was 2,200 yesterday. It's about 2,000 this morning. So maybe that is why he's saying so. Column for Babawa, CEO Shalaisi. That is why he's Mokibobolen can say. Bear with me. There's a lot of few adjustments. So let's first, don't worry, I'm not going on a short break. I've had my breakfast, and that means we will continue the program as much as I can. I don't know where we're going to start from, but we're going to stick to our discussion on peaceful dissolution of Nigeria, which is the area that I want to focus on for the next few more weeks. So Nigeria needs now the courage to dissolve peacefully. Moki Egbomi Yemi Fatoke, Moki in Canada, Moki Babawa Warish, Biafra land, nationalism, and the self-determination is self-funded collectively with the sweat, tears, and blood, labors, and struggle of hard-working diaspora, foreign exchange, and human resources overseas. Very important that our people back home understand that funding a project like this is quite, big. And so let me get the charger in. Happy Friday, Barika Jimo to all our listeners around the world. We love you. We appreciate you. To Ogumola Biodun, afternoon to you, all the way down there in the homeland. Akin Games, thank you so much. And to my beautiful mother and my wives, my children, and my family that are in support of what we do here. To everyone, Titilola, Shawl, and many of you, Bishop Additional. I don't know whether you're available. Quite a lot of people are calling me regarding the RUBA and the FSC. So T Bishop Bauer on the line, you can hear me. You might want to call us and let's get a bit of information, because people have watched the program on another media and it looks like I'm getting a lot of calls regarding the RUBA and the FFC, that people wants to know what it's all about. So Tebawa available, I would like you if you can just call into the program. If otherwise, we would have to arrange. So once again, let's get it going. Also remember that the only way you can help this platform is to also contribute. Without funding, we can't do much. We need you to contribute. We need you to support us. We need you to help us with this channel. Funding. We need a lot of money. I think this weekend I might do fundraising for my platform to ask for your support, financially. So this weekend, we might do a bit of fundraising for Koiki Media. And whatever we raise, as much as if we can raise anyway. It will then help me as we prepare to go into the new year. So I think we've done few fundraising in the past. So I might share another fundraising this weekend. Either Saturday or Sunday, I will find out at what time is good to me and you. So yeah, you know what, about broadcasting, about day, I will be doing a fundraising for my platform. In terms of the Yoruba, where to put your money, we're still having issues with the YSDM website, where money cannot be taken. I don't know why, but they say they are looking into it and they will rectify the problem as quickly as possible. That's all I have. So apart from that, it is a Friday, the 6th day of the month of December, and the year is winding down, and nobody knows what is going to happen, especially between federal government and the Biafra. Nobody knows what might happen. We can speculate about it, but we don't have any full intel or information to what might play out between the federal government and the Biafra, as they have decided to take the battle in their own care. So nobody knows what's going to happen. So we just have to continue. As I always say, I'll come back with my face there. So Nigeria needs the courage to dissolve peacefully at Soronipe multiple times. Okay, I think my Wi-Fi was off. I've actually turned it on back. We are Bishop 13 try not to put the leg on. But if I play Wi-Fi. So you can also watch Koiki Media on our backup YouTube channel. The link is below right there. Thank you so much, Simon, my brother. May God bless you, continue to protect you, and give you more and more wisdom. Thank you. Where are we with Nigeria, and how soon do you think the situation in Nigeria might start going down? Many say it's not going to go down. It's all speculation. I say it might go down quicker than what you might not know. A lot of people are bitter. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are not happy. They are dissatisfied. They are disengaged. They don't want to even be, known as Nigerians. So what do you do with people like that? Do you ignore them, or do you work with them to find solution to majority of their problem and request? Or should we just say nothing is going to happen? If the Biafra doesn't like Nigeria, we must force them to remain in Nigeria. Is that what we want to do? Can we tell Tinubu to engage them so that it doesn't become too violent and become where life will be lost? What is your take? Kile Euro. Excuse me. Kini Euro. Pẹ̀lú situation àwọn Biafra. Kile Euro lọ́kàn. Ṣé kí Tinubu ignore wọn? Àbí kí President Tinubu engage wọn? This is where I want you to call in and tell me what you think. The line is open. What do you think? That President Tinubu should engage them, or just say, you know what? Whatever you want to do, nobody's leaving this country. We are all in it together. What do you think? Kile Euro. And whenever we say support us, it is voluntary donation. Kile Euro lọ́kàn. Tinubu, forget about them. They can't do anything. They can shout on the social media. They can scream, but nothing will happen. I will defend the territorial ground of Nigeria with all the means that I have. Tinubu has, is the president currently. So, kí lẹ̀yin rò, kí ni take ẹ̀yin lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn? Friday, the 6th of December 2024. It's coming up to 2 minutes to midday. Kini contain role. Should Tinubu start talking to the government of the Biafra, or should he just ignore them and say they are time wasters and nothing is going to happen and nothing will happen? What about if something happened and it ended up affecting all other Nigerians? Because whatever is going to happen will trickle down to every part of Nigeria, especially in a tense situation. If the Northerners, for whatever reason, are not being given more chance in the southeastern part of the country, the Yorubas are not given more chance because situation there is arising very fast. Are the North going to react as well? Are the Yorubas also going to react to the Igbos in the southwest part? Especially there is already tension between Yoruba and the people of Biafra in the southwest part, whether Lagos, Ogun State, Ondo State, or Ibadan. Do you think that the situation can change? Let us remind ourselves that it is only one small thing that spark and it can erupt to every part of the state. Mukiyawa Grandma Fatusi Elizabeth Akola Jimoma. Kile in your or you are just thinking that nothing can happen and nothing would happen. I am not talking about the Yoruba nation. I'm talking about people that have already made up their mind and they've done what they call restoration. Kini Enyiro. Do you think that Tinubu should engage them or ignore them? Cheki President Tinubu engage àwọn Igbo tó náà wọ́n ti gba ìlú wọn, àwọn ti kúrò ní Nàìjíríà, àbí kókò sọ pé because some people they always type and say they play. Ṣé tí the play bá lọ di problem ńkọ́ kí la máa ṣe sí? What is the plan? Because these set of citizens, as they call themselves now, are saying that we are not Nigerians anymore, and I am asking that should the president engage them or just look at them as bunch of, in the mouth of the presidency, fools, that they are wasting their time. Mukia Mudukwe Ola Bello, Akopalemo weekend. Kolon Foriji Babawa Ajani Bello. Tó jáde láyé, bàbá oníwàásí àgbáyé. Ta ló rántí bàbá yẹn dáadáa? Ajani Bello, wọ́n náà jáde láyé láàárọ̀ yìí. Ajani Bello, oníwàásí àgbáyé. Bàbá yẹn bá ṣe wàásí, yẹn bá gbọ́ wàásí bàbá yẹn. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa oríṣiríṣi. That's the reason why we say we are only here for a short period of time. No matter what, everybody needs to play their role. Iku, death. Ajani Bello is well known around the world. He has talked about many things, but death has now taken him away. I'm trying to see if we can get one of his lectures. And I guess I have one that I might look into and see. And it says there the title. Now, and I'm very careful with where I'm picking it from because of our YouTube. So I might find, because sometimes as it today, the law of karma. This was 8 months ago. Okay, let's listen to these. Not sure. Okay, I think the line is, my phone is ringing. No? No. Okay, I think this is his personal page. Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello. So we can take from here. How many of you know him? Whether you are Christian, you are Muslim, he is a very popular cleric in Yoruba land, Southwest. Oduduwa has arrived. Okay. There is a real engagement going on right now, and it isn't a good news. And you also went further to say Tinubu has already engaged them at Odigbo. Hope Uzodinma, the Emir of Imo State. So what you're saying is that they've already been engaged. Are you talking about the previous engagement or the current one? I'm talking about the current one now. Should Tinubu engage? What I mean by engage is talk to them and facilitate how their exit will come out of Nigeria so that we will not end up like Yugoslavia, where blood was streaming all over the place. That's the engagement I'm talking about. I'm talking about the present engagement. Àwọn ọmọ Igbo tí wọ́n náà wọ́n ṣe Nigeria mọ́, a dẹ̀ ti sọ pé àfẹ́jẹ́ kó lọ. But before that, I want us to listen to this, our scholar that died, according to the news coming out of Ibadan today. The present government should call for peaceful resolution, should be a roundtable peaceful resolution. This is coming from Oduduwa has arrived, between Tinubu and the Biafra government in exile, so that there will be a peaceful means of them living without nobody taking bullets. Do you think that that is going to happen? Is Tinubu capable to do that? What are the Northerners going to say? Are they not ready to allow the southeast part to cut out of Nigeria? Or will it be a force? Let's listen to Ajani Bello, one of the Islamic scholar of our era. May so rest in peace, from Koiki Media. Olonforiji Baba. As I use my platform to continue to educate and bring conscious awareness, our platform is only asking for what people want and what I believe in as well. You might not want it, but how do you tell those that believe in it, and how do you engage them? Do you just push them aside and say, you can't do anything? Or do we engage each other peacefully so that things can be done amicably? And I do not own the copyright to any of the videos I'm about to play.
أن سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
عبده ورسوله والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا رسولنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم
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 وعلى آله وصحابه
الله
ومن تبع هداهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. أدوك فلون
الحمد لله
أجي أدوك دادا
الحمد لله
أجي أقريا يا نادلة
الحمد لله رب العالمين لعلكم تشكرون.
Yóò àti dúpẹ́ fún mi, èmi náà mà lá dúpẹ́ fún. Bóyá ẹbẹ́ bá rántí bá a ṣe kó yín jọun ẹ dúpẹ́. Gbogbo ẹni ọba mọ̀ pé dá kó bá mi dá ọpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run láàyè.
Alhamdulillah.
Àbí ara àrègùn rẹ̀ náà nù ó ní gbogbo nǹkan ni mo fún yín. Èwo lẹ béèrè tá a fún yín bẹ̀. Ọkàn jẹ́ pé kò ní tó yín ni ìyà nìkan ló tó yín. Ìyà.
Wa atakum min kulli ma salitumuhu.
Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo ń tẹ́ ń fẹ́ ni mo fún yín o.
Wa in ta'uddu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha.
Bá pẹ́ máa ka oore tí mo ṣe fún yín tán ẹ lè dúpẹ́ rẹ̀ tán.
La tuhsuha.
Mélòó lẹ kà ń bẹ̀?
La tuhsuha.
Ẹnìkan kò ní owó nù ràn rẹ rí gbọ́dọ̀ yìí ti taari ẹ̀ ṣe o.
La tuhsuha.
Gbogbo ará agboolé yín wọn ò lẹ́nìkankan tó lówó lọ́wọ́ rí.
Ìwọ náà lógo wọn.
Ìwọ náà làkọ́kọ́. O tún wá ológun náà rẹ tún wá ń ṣeré létí omi.
Nǹkan sí ọ.
La tuhsuha. La tuhsuha. Wa in ta'uddu ni'matallahi la tuhsuha.
Ọlọ́run ní oore tí mo ṣe fún yẹn lè ká tán o.
La tuhsuha.
Bàtà bá mọ̀ pé oore tọ́lọ̀ ń ṣe fún wa a lè ká tán. Ṣé gbogbo wa bá a ṣe wà ń bí? À ń sọ̀rọ̀ àti rílẹ̀ afẹ́kọ́lé ike bá a bá jẹ́ ni Ọlọ́run lóòótọ́. Ṣé gbogbo àtàwọn bí a lè dáwó ohun tá a fẹ́ kọjọ?
Ever wonder what
Mo kì í pẹ́ kó sùúrù.
Bàbá ti ṣe ìwọ̀nba tí ó lè ṣe kọ́lọ́n bá wa tẹ́ wọn sáfẹ́fẹ́ rẹ̀, and we pray for the family and anyone that is affected, the Muslim community in Yoruba land and across the diaspora. Kọ́lọ́n foríjì bàbá wa. So let's come back out of that. I'm looking at Finland celebrating their independence. But how do we that is how did Finland gain independence? So let's take a bit about history. Let's talk about a bit of history. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ nípa ìtàn àwọn Finland, because what we know, and I'm looking at the Finland Prime Minister, where I do follow his Twitter known as X handle, which is STUBB Alexander Stubb, is the president of the Republic of Finland. Arákùnrin tí ibi tí Simon Ekpa wà is 56 years old, born on the 1st of April 1968, under the party called European People's Party. Oníyàwó, well educated. Previous office, he has held Minister of Finance of Finland from 2015 to 16. He has children. And they are celebrating, as you can see there, the independence of Finland today. My question to we, the Yorubas, those that disagree with self-determination, is if, and I know it's not everybody, so don't, take it or twist it. If you are given the opportunity to switch country between Nigeria and Finland, and without you knowing about Yoruba nation before, without you knowing about Biafra nation before, or without us talking about the breakup of Nigeria, would you go and live in Finland at any point if you were privileged? Pé o mọ̀ nǹkan kan nípa Yoruba nation, wọ́n kọ̀ fún ẹ ní pé Finland o wà lọ gbé níbẹ̀. Waris Jinado says, and I quote, the United States recognized Finland on the May 7, 1919 in a letter from the Secretary of State, Robert Lessing, to the Finland Foreign Minister, Rudolf Polist. So what you're watching right now in front of your screen, for those that are watching me in a cold, bitter
winter. As you can see, it is all white snow. So they're having a Christmas in the snow compared to us in London. If you are privileged, ẹni Ọlọ́run dá mo kí yín, tó bá láǹfààní, mo kí àwa mo dúpẹ́ ọlá, mo kí gbogbo àwọn Muslim Association of Nigeria, mo kí gbogbo àwọn alásàlátù, mo kí gbogbo àwọn Islamic organization in the United Kingdom and also in America, in Saudi, around the world, wherever you are, títí dé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, àdẹ̀kù ilédè bàbá wa Ajani Bello. My question to those of you that disagree with the United States of Biafra or the Yoruba is that, would you prefer, if you have the opportunity, to live in Nigeria or take opportunity to go and reside in Finland? Èwo ló máa mú níbẹ̀? How did Finland gain their own independence? Báwo ló ṣe gba òmìnira tiwọn? Ọ̀nà wo ló lò? Ìgbésẹ̀ wo ló gbé? Àwọn ta ló bá sọ̀rọ̀? Iṣẹ́ wo ló ṣe? Ta ló accepted? Ta ló disagree? And this is to educate many people that says, yes, Nigeria is a country, according to what we are told, but there are many countries inside Nigeria. And that's exactly why some are now asking for the country to be de-amalgamated. That is the reason why we are doing what we are doing, to educate ourselves. Àní mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹni Ọlọ́run dání, with the current situation, I would prefer even Ghana. I tell you, Finland is too much to compare with. Òun máa prefer to live in Ghana as compared to live in Nigeria. And we can see that many Nigerians, Omopolawan Albert, says, Emma Bin Moshari, comment to you. He says, and I quote, "It is better to ignore Biafra government and the situation will eventually getting worse and trigger the entire gunpowder that already set to burst out seas. But is it not good that Tinubu should not allow such to happen? It's just my suggestion." Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Omopolawan Albert, happy Friday. Kola Olawa sọ pé it will be very expensive to ignore the Igbo, but very profitable to negotiate with them. Keep the comment coming. The line is still open. The number is on the screen. Should you want to add your own input? This is Koiki Media. Tó bá rí nọ́mbà yẹn, òun ló wà lọ́wọ́ sàlẹ̀. Èní ni ọjọ́ Friday, ọjọ́ kẹfà, oṣù kejìlá, ọdún 2024. Whether we agree with the Biafra declaration or not, they have done it. What should Tinubu be doing? But we are also going to be talking about báwo ni Finland, the country where Simon Ekpa operated for the last 2 years up until the 29th of this year, when they had what they called restoration. Adebayo Kikiola Emmanuel, only woto is the only way. Leke Oleyede sọ pé keep up the good work, Yoruba nation, no going back. Many Nigerians are now much more engaged after the Biafra made their declaration. Keep the comment coming and let's take a bit of talk to Finland. So what do we know? People talk about independent. Apedaburo Koiki, a lot declare. But how does it happen in the past, and what can we learn from the past to make sure that mistakes are not done? Because if we do a single mistake, it could take us another 60 years, and that means Gowon will be happy. Finland gained independence from Russia. That means láyé àtijọ́, Finland dá dúró, àmọ́ nǹkan kan link wọn pẹ̀lú Russia. So when you look at Russia, Finland gba independent wọn látara Russia.
Russia is still a country and Finland is a country. So when Yoruba people and the Igbos and the Hausas and the other indigenous people say, no, we don't go agree, we keep Nigeria. But remember that you can still hold on to your Nigeria and allow those that want to fall out of it to go without any war. And that is why Baba Akintoye wrote 2 years ago, Nigeria needs now the courage to dissolve peacefully. Kó má bàa mú ìtàjẹ̀ sílẹ̀ wá ní Baba Akintoye ṣe kọ àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ yẹn jáde. And it is not too late if only President Bola Tinubu listen to the current state of the situation in the present. I am not talking about before he came to power. He is the one in charge now. He is the bulk of decision making. When he was not in power, he could influence the situation. But now that President Bola Tinubu is in control, the chief commander, what is he going to do with the situation arising in Nigeria on a daily basis? Even Baba Akintoye wrote a letter to Tinubu in April, not begging him, but asking him to engage with the Yorubas that wants to go. But it seems that Tinubu is not interested. Football fans clubs, and my question is, before Nigeria, who we are? Well, we already know all that. The question I'm asking now is, what should the president be doing? Nobody is disputing who we are before 200 years. 200 years is not what we are talking about. The present situation is, what should Tinubu be doing? We talked about the 200 years. Yesterday we talked about a grandmother that was, born on the 18th, and I want to quickly look at it here. She was born in 1898. She was 16 years old. Mary Bilogun, as at the time 1914 amalgamation came to light. She died in 1978. I met the grandson yesterday. But what I am talking this afternoon is, what kind of engagement do we expect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that even the Yoruba wrote a letter, and I have the letter in front of me, especially for those that kept saying that Baba Akintoye is not doing anything because Tinubu is in power. Because people only talk about what they love to talk about without any fact or evidence. Because the letter is in the public domain. It wasn't hidden. If Baba Akintoye wasn't doing Yoruba Nation, he would not be sending letter to Tinubu. But as usual, there will always be people that are against what you do. And that is the copy of the letter right in front of you. This letter was sent to President Bola Tinubu by Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. But like I said, people are always ready to criticize, and I've just opened the letter a little bit more in terms of the front so that you can see it. Well dated on the 17th of April this year. Baba Akintoye called letter to Tinubu asking him to allow us to sit together because Yoruba ló ní ọgbọ́n, Yoruba ló ní òye, and Yoruba don't want to destroy Nigeria. But Nigeria has already destroyed us. Mo lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ọmọgbọ́láhàn Ọba lẹ́ẹ̀kan sẹ́ni, well done Ọ̀gá Koiki, and more blessing. How do I get the Baba Akintoye new book? It is not on Amazon. Ever get in touch? My phone number, Alaja Queen Ara in London here, where she has the copies. Yes, Omobolaji Abdullahi is breaking the news. You are probably coming into the program late because I did play video about Bawadada, Babalalu Barika, Tankpe ni Alhaji Ajani Bello. I should play video monton. So you are coming in late. Koiki Media knows what is going on in Nigeria than many of you. But thank you so much, because I have a lot of correspondents like Omobolaji, Abdullahi, and Olakunle, and the rest of them. On this platform, we focus. We don't want to be distracted. It is about education, awareness, bringing the conscious mind. You have the right to disagree, but the question is, for how long more will Nigeria hold together? Another 30 years? Do you think that Nigeria can hold for another 30 good years, or it is falling apart? Mokele and Konsi brother me, Omobolaji Abdullah. My job here on the studio here is to educate, is not violent. You might not like my utterances, it is understandable. But you cannot dispute the fact that Nigeria has affected every single one of us. But Bami Adebayo Yusuf Adebayo of the Yoruba nation is not going back. And well done to you, Mr. Koiki. God bless you, sir. Let's go back to Finland, because only Finland lawa afabo ni leta ti baba ko si Tinubu. Baba Akintoye, the intelligentsia man, knows that if we will pull out of Nigeria, we must engage the international community and we must engage the government, because United Nations will ask you, have you given notification to your government that you want to go, or you are just coming and disturbing us here that Yoruba needs to go? When you go to United Nations, they will ask you that, have you engaged Moki Olakunle Kabo? Ṣé ẹ ti engage ìjọba yín? Have you told your government that you would like to go out of Nigeria? Have you engaged them, or you are just disturbing? So no matter what, the bridge Biafra government in exile, BGIE, must continue to engage diplomacy. Forging alliance is one of the biggest things, and denaturalization, trade, embargo, media, more awareness, passive resistance, referendum. If you don't know the meaning of M1, that is how we leave it. Because we don't tell you what M1, because we told you that 4 years ago. You can ask in the comment section. This is coming from Waris Jinodo. Olakunle, yes, we have engaged the government times without numbers, but they kept ignoring us until we go and declare, and people will say, nya, 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 no, 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 no. Because when we were engaging Tinubu, you can see the letter, screenshot it. If you need a copy, go on my website, you will find it there. This letter was written about January, February, March, April. That's about almost 9 months ago. So tí Yorùbá bá lọ declare ní sí àti gbé letter lọ sọ́dọ̀ the British government. Some say, why take letter there? Do you think they will do anything? No, that is why they say Yorùbás are different. We are intelligent people. A man kọ́kọ́ prepare ká tó jà. A Yoruba will not just go and fight. You must prepare. That is the letter with Igboho there. Even myself do not know the content of that letter. Ìdí tó ṣe ń sọ pé Yorùbá ló ní ọgbọ́n, ló ní òye, so that when the Yoruba wants to declare their own, people will not say, we did not know anything that you wrote letter to Tinubu. And that is why Koiki will bring it closer to your doorstep. Because we don't, like Baba Akintoye says, we don't want to disturb the peace of Nigeria, but we need to go. So let's focus on those that have already done what they call restoration of what they believe in. They are called the Biafrans, the United States of Biafran citizens. Some say now online country. But this online country can destabilize Nigeria that would affect you and me. You might not think so, but you must prepare for so. Tó bá ní kò kún ẹ́, tó bá wá lọ kàn wọ́n kọ́. Because already, nobody can move in that axis. They don't burn you well on Monday. When they start giving that, nobody can move for another 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Don't you think that you, where you want travel, go the other side, might be affected? How many of you can travel on air? This is why we are saying to the government that you don't run away from the situation. You need to do what they call engagement. Carve out them out of Nigeria, and the rest of us will still remain in Nigeria until the next country wants to pull out. That is why we have borders. That is why the map of Nigeria is well structured that gives us the river Niger. Nobody wants any war, but it seems that Tinubu is calling for one if he does not engage. I don't know what is going to happen, but those that are seeing things from the spiritual realm are saying, do not sit back and do nothing, because it will bring a lot of problem. The government can still put a referendum and ask everyone in the southeast that believe in that Biafra if they want to remain in Nigeria. It was done in East Timor. Ǹjẹ́ Tinubu máa ṣe the same thing, or Tinubu will just ignore them? My job as a journalist is to ask questions. Barika Juma for all our Muslim listeners around the world. We want peace. But who is going to give the peace? Are the Biafra going to want peace, or they want the other options? Peace is always the best thing on the round table, because even if you go and fight and kill each other, you will still end up on the round table. Why not let us sort it out on the round table and stop the shooting and the killings? But if you are one of those that say nothing will happen, Tinubu will do whatever needs to be done to protect the integrity and the territorial ground of Nigeria. United States of America said the same thing with the Vietnamese. So let's learn more from how Finland gained their independence. That is where we are right now. I am your journalist that breaks it down as you've never been hearing it before in any platform. Hey, not this place. You get banned for putting that nonsense to say nobody. Okay, sorry, I'm mixing it up. No verse. I think say somebody won, because we have people that come here and they want to come and torowo. We don't want anybody to torowo here. So sorry, blessing. Olaide Oluwatoyin. I think I was mixing your write-up. No, yeah, you're right. I wasn't mixing it up. You're coming to beg for money. No, not on this platform. So if you lie, make God not even judge you. That's your own bloody problem. Take you out of the platform. Don't come here and come and beg for money. No. If you're hungry, go and do whatever needs to be done with your leaders. So, not on my platform. Don't come and put that nonsense here. Idiots. Go and ask your government for money. This platform, or you go to Cocoon Foundation. Fẹ́mi Adéyẹmí sọ pé ẹ̀gbọ́n mi èmi ń dáná níbí báyìí tèmi mẹ́ mo dẹ̀ ń gbádùn ayé mi. Cooking and enjoying the broadcast. Ṣáà má jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ jóná. May Nigeria never happen to me. Amen o. You better shout amen. Because if Nigeria happen to you, you will witness woto woto. Nobody come on this platform and beg for money. If you need money, go to any platform where they give money. So as we continue, we want to go back to Finland, because Finland is celebrating their independence today. Very unique, very important. And that is why we are touching on Finland. I think I should first see if I can find a video. How did Finland gain independence? A brief history. December 6, 1917, Finland gained independence from Russia. The Biafra have gained their independence. Like it, hate it, dislodge it, whatever, it is now up to them to defend it. It is up to them to defend it. Because people that went to Finland, as we saw it in all the broadcasts, we know that they fought for it. The history of Finland and Russia, I think we should first talk about the history. Because for you to know something, you must first go and look at the history. We all know the history of Yoruba in Nigeria. We all know the history of the Igbos in Nigeria, the Hausas. We know how the Fulani also came in. So after the history, we would then go and look at how they gained the independence. Now that the people knows their history, I'm talking about the Biafrans, they now want to hold on to their belief that the only option is for them to go. So let's take it through. This is not my video in case you don't find it on the stream after the broadcast, but we can enjoy it. Moki our Pausat 68 on Instagram. Otumba Oluwashino. You can disagree with me, you can hate Koiki, but the fact remains that some people say, oh, Nigeria more, it's a fact. Just as the Finnish people left Russia and became an independent. Today they are celebrating their Independence Day. So if you are still one of those Nigerians that say, no, we will die here together. No, nobody will die there together. You can't force people to live in where they don't want to live. Carve out the southeast and let Yoruba people remain in Nigeria. Let Hausa remain. And if you want to travel through that route, look, if I still don't have a British passport, as an example, and I want to go to Germany or Mofelo Kioloye, and Mowape Dogmo Mofelo Gba Republic of Ireland Wole, because Republic of Ireland is a European country, but I can access the Republic of Ireland as a British as a British as immigration as not, as not, let me rephrase that. I can travel to Republic of Ireland because I live in the UK. There is a relationship between United Kingdom and Republic of Ireland because of their past history. So I'm talking of me as a foreigner now because this is how it's going to play out. It doesn't work like that. It is called immigration rules. So I have lived here, like I've told every one of you. Everybody knows how long I've lived here. So by how long I've lived here, then I don't have to be repeating that on the social media. That means you are just new to this platform. Now, I have lived here. I wasn't born here. I'm given all the privilege to live here, even though it took me time to attain some of my rights as a foreigner. Now, the fact that I have lived in the system called the United Kingdom, I now want to use the privilege that I live here. I have been given the right to live here. There's two different rights. Your visa doesn't give you the right to work. To ban shishek pẹ̀lú visa, be prepared to be taken to prison, and after your prison to be deported back to Nigeria. Because your visa does not give you the right to work. I am given the right to work because that is my entitlement that I fought for using the immigration rules. So if you are one of those that say, you will just come here, so I am just trying to explain now that mo wá fẹ́ lọ sí Germany, mo fẹ́ lọ kí bàámi olóyè Ìgbòho, mo fẹ́ lọ sí France, mo fẹ́ lọ kí bàbá Bàkáì, mo fẹ́ lọ kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ní Belgium, mo wá fẹ́ fi ọ̀nà kan lọ síbẹ̀ nítorí pé ọ̀nà yẹn mo rí loophole níbẹ̀. Kí ni loophole? The Republic of Ireland is an EU country. UK is no longer an EU country. I am not talking about people that have British passport. If you don't have British passport, you will still need the Schengen visa to travel through that region. Now, mo wá dé Republic of Ireland, mo wá fẹ́ gba border kọjá, they will ask me that, where is your visa, Mr. Koiki? You need a visa Yes, you have the right to come here from UK because our relationship with UK means that we allow you to come here. But your relationship stopped from the border between Republic of Ireland to go to the European countries. This is what we are explaining to the people at home. Our many borders that we will control and people will not be able to infiltrate and come in. But they think that when we are here, we hate Igbos, we hate Hausa. No, we love ourselves because we want to protect our borders against people that doesn't have to live with us. Ebang share button. A very good afternoon and welcome once again. My name remains Olayomi Koiki, the last man standing of Yoruba nation. The one that will use his media to educate you so that you can appreciate your life in the Almighty God that you believe in. That freedom is sweet. Maybe I should repeat myself. I want to go to European country and I want to use Republic of Ireland to enter there because they can still allow me from here to touch down at Republic of Ireland. But the Republic of Ireland will stop me because I do not have the permit apart from if I have the Shanghai visa. If I have the Shanghai visa, they will not stop me. They will just appreciate that I use their side to travel when I should have gone through Heathrow Airport. Republic of Ireland. Imagine if I have the right visa. Why should I travel to the Republic of Ireland to travel to? Only if I have something to do in there, then I can go there and use that to travel by road, by plane, by train. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ò ní àgbọ́yé ń tà ń sọ. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún yín pé invest in the media to get the message to the people before 2027. If not, Tinubu will become the president again after 2027. And don't come and tell us, ṣèbóyè ká ti gba Yorùbá nation. That is not my business. That is everybody's business. But when we sit here and we are doing our own part, yours is also to do your part. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. Mo ń bọ̀ mọ̀ ìtìdè. Àṣẹ mẹ́yẹ bọ̀ lápò ni. Yoruba nation can be said no going back, but it is a work that needs to be done. And it's not going to come easy. But we pray to the gods of Yoruba land to make it easy. The end of Nigeria is where we are because we will not stop educating you. So even if you don't like my platform and you don't want to listen, you will still be getting the news everywhere at some point. The end of Nigeria has come and nobody can dispute it. So now, let's take you to the next video that we got ready for you. So this video that we're about to watch, I do not own the copyright. It is just a bit of history. Ẹni tó mọ ìtàn tó gbọ́dọ̀ bá kílẹ̀ pé ẹ̀yin ìyá mi ẹ bá ń parí òwe yẹn. Wà bá àrọ́bá dẹ̀ lọ pè ní bàbá ìtàn. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa. Adéfẹ́mi ó ní Nigeria completely finished. Ìyẹn tàbí finished pẹ́. Nigeria expires in 2014. So what everybody is doing now is just mago and fraud. And that is the biggest crime against humanity. If everybody knows the end of Nigeria has already been done and nothing can bring it back. Nigeria expired and we should allow it to go without bloodshed. Ben, hey, yadada, báwo lọjà lénìí? Èló ni báàgì ráìsì báyìí? Ṣé kò tí ì lọ sókè púpọ̀? Ẹ bá ń kí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa ní ọjà Òyìngbò, Òyìngbò. Pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ ó dà pé èèyàn kan ló kọrin yẹn náà ọmọ olórin yẹn. Mo kí ìyá wa ọmọ Bọ́láńlé Sàká. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ ìtàn díẹ̀ nípa history of Finland pẹ̀lú Russia. Let's watch. It's about 12 minutes. We might not use everything. Shall get it a little bit out of it. Then we come back into the broadcast. Mo kí bàbá wa Ayọ̀mí Òyìnbó Aláṣọ. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Ìdúmọ̀tà, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Mushin, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Yaba. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin yá wa lọ́jà ní ọjà Òyìngbò. Mo kí yín o. My 12 market táwọn náà ní Òyìngbò. Ẹ̀ràn pé mi ti kúrò ní ti pẹ́. Mo kí ní gbogbo Ìkòròdú, Lagos Island, Mainland, Surulere, mo kí ní Àlímọ̀ṣọ́, mo kí ní òkè Òyìngbò ní my area from Èbúté Mẹ́ta, okay, mo kí ní Agége, ẹ bá ń kí Sanwó-Olú o, ẹ bá ń kí Ambode Lẹ́pẹ́, mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Ọ̀yọ́, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Ọ̀ṣun, gbogbo Òkè Ògùn, mo kí ní ìlú Ìgbòho, mo mà kí ní ìlú Èkìtì níbi tí Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá àti Délé Fárótìmí tọ́jọ́ ń pò nǹkan, mo kí ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń bẹ ní Ondo State lọ́dọ̀ bàbá wa Ìbà Gani Adams, ok Èbúté Mẹ́ta ló wà, lòyìnbó wà, èwa ni my 12, níbo ni my 12 wà, ṣé my 12 ló ń lọ sọ́nà pé mi ò mọ̀bì kankan náà kó ṣàánú wa àti kúrò létí pẹ́, ok mainland ní Òyìnbó wà, Èbúté Mẹ́ta, my 12 yẹn kọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ àkíbẹ̀ làwọn mọ́là máa ń kó ata wá, my 12, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá lọ́jà, nǹkan wá wọ́n gógógógógógó ni bójú ẹja, olódò ràpàtà ojú ẹja ló mọ̀ ọ́ jẹ wíkì and all come and demoralize ọmọ yẹn dẹ̀ máa di olódò tó máa fi ṣe tán ní school yìí tó máa sọ fún pé àwọn school yìí dáa ní ọba kàwé ní ìlú òyìnbó wọn pèèyàn lólódò tó bá fèèlì wá ní o pass wọn mọ̀ pé ó fèèlò wọn ní o pass ni wọn ní wàá kọ̀ tún bẹ̀ yẹn ṣe ní Nàìjíríà àìmọye àwọn tó repeat tó wọ́n jápa kúrò ní school yẹn wọ́n lọ sí school míì torí intimidation àti bully wọ́n ti fìyà jẹ wá olódò ràpàtà ojú ẹja ló mọ̀ ọ́ jẹ wíkì agric market wọ́n kí wa ọmọ kí yín náà olódò ràpàtà ojú ẹja ló mọ̀ ọ́ jẹ wíkì mo kí brother mi jàre Yorùbá real oníbàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Now let's watch and listen. Ẹ má bínú pé mò ń jẹ data yẹn tẹ́ wà ní and I think we're gonna do 3 hours. Iṣẹ́ ń wo programming. We're 2 hours in. Ẹ bá fẹ́ call, the line is open. Adéwuyì Adéṣọlá ní Nigeria is completely finished. Òyìnbó pọ̀jù. Yorùbá nation now. No going back. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Ẹ bá ń gbọ́ wọlé share button. Mo kẹ́yìn tèmi lórí MixLR. Okay, Ọlámídé ló kọ Òyìnbó Èkó ó dàgbé wà tí wọ́n campaign fún Sanwó-Olú nìyẹn lọ́lọ́kọ Òyìnbó yẹn mo kí ẹ jàre Ọmọbọ́lájà Abdullahi ó yá ẹja sáré lọ gbọ́ díẹ̀ nípa history.
In Eastern European history, there has never been such a contentious love-hate relationship as that of Finland and Russia. Even considering Poland in the latter, do we see a continuity in the sourness of diplomatic relations? I guess that's supposed to make my Polish subscribers feel more connected to their Russian counterparts, right? So what exactly can be deemed controversial about Finnish-Russian relations? Well, for starters, the two people have been closely tied for a very long time, in which Finland even became a dependency of the Russian Empire. After the First World War, it gained its independence, later prompting the Soviet Union to challenge Finnish autonomy via the Winter War, or the war that became a meme according to other YouTubers. Why do I even bother? Anywho, after the Second World War, relations between the two countries thawed and have been pretty okay even up until this point. However, such fluctuations in diplomatic relations warrant further scrutiny. To understand the specifics of how each country has interacted with one another, let us take a journey to yesteryear, Kievan Rus. What is now known as Russia was inhabited by a plethora of peoples: Slavs, Baltic peoples, and Finno-Ugrians, to name a few. These vast territories were controlled by a confederation of principalities centered on the capital city, Kiev. However, there was one such principality in the far north that was slowly expanding into Finnic lands, Novgorod. However, by 1136, Novgorod achieved complete independence from Kievan Rus and took Karelia with it. By 1240, Kiev was viciously sacked by the Mongols and Kievan Rus ceased to exist. However, Novgorod managed to keep its independence. It had to concentrate on containing its unruly western neighbor, Sweden. The contested waters of the Gulf of Finland provided key trade points to either power, thus culminating in a battle on the Neva River. What amounted was a great victory to the Novgorod Prince Alexander, who earned his name Alexander Nevsky. However, Novgorod wasn't the only state to profit from the disintegration of Kiev, with Muscovy slowly gaining power at Novgorod's expense. Finally, just a few decades after Nevsky's rule, the townspeople abolished the title of Prince of Novgorod altogether, and instead began to recognize the formal suzerainty of an external ruler, usually that of Tver or Moscow. The result was a Cold War between Muscovy and Lithuania, which led to Novgorod's occupation by Muscovite troops.
What we are just trying to explain in this video, it might not mean anything to us, and it might mean something to us. It's just to tell us that everybody, Great Yoruba Nation, learning history here. And if we preserve our history, we can maintain it and still have relationship with our neighbors, which is why Baba Akintoye say, asking for Yoruba Nation is not a war. We are just asking for the nation. We are not asking for war. Because some people will say, hey, but Yoruba Nation Biafra. So let's watch the next video quickly as well, and then we'll come back. This is how did Finland gain independence? This video was 2 years ago. It's about 24 minutes again. But English love so finish.
SNR 82. Hey, how you doing? In today's video, we
bedroom voice, right? Professor Lindsay and Nicola Badello. Ìyẹn dẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wọn àti èèyàn kan jẹ́ wà nínú yàrá tó ń ṣe jìgìjìgì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ìtẹ́mi gan sọ gan níbí báyìí gan. Kákọ̀ gbọ́n kankan jọ ẹlòmíì tábà tí play video tó jẹ́ táwọn olóyìnbó dé yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ bí ẹni tó wọn àti èèyàn kan jẹ́ wà nínú yàrá. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ wá fídíò mi jà mí tẹ ìgbádùn bó ṣe ń fi sọ̀rọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wọn àti èèyàn kan ń ṣe pókè nínú yàrá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bóyá ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ lọ wá fídíò mi jà mí. If otherwise, màá lọ kà á ní right up. So kò ń ṣe dandan pé ká wo fídíò. Ẹ ń sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú bedroom voice. Professor Lindsay yẹn ni àbá gbádùn òun ló ń mọ bó ṣe ń ṣe presentation yẹn dáadáa. Ok, ẹ jẹ́ ká wọlé road to independence. Finland in let's hope pé English lè sọ road to independence.
Finland was
ẹ̀rí bí lè ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn. Àbẹ́ ìbò voice lè ṣe jáde àbọ̀ rákúnlẹ̀ àbúrò náà rí pé bọ̀bọ̀ tó sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wà tán obìnrin kan wà ní yàrá. If we listen to that man's voice, òun máa gbé wa lọ ní. Ọlọ́mọdé ẹ̀kọ́ rẹ̀ máa tó wá sùn lórí broadcast. The way he was speaking like somebody wey get woman for inside room. Ẹ tẹ́ wà lórí Instagram is already 1 hour again. Ó ń pẹ́. So ẹ má lọ. We will go and I'll come back. And I'll slow down before we start playing the video. Má jẹ́ kí ká jẹ́ káwọn Instagram padà. So mo kí gbogbo òyìn wa o pé a kú ti bàbá wa Àjàní Bello. Ara ń tà ń sọ nìyẹn o. Ilé ayé yìí. Àwa kọ́ la ní o. Bàbá yẹn ti lọ nísìn. Kọ́lọ́n tẹ́ wọn sáfẹ́fẹ́ rẹ o. Bọ́ ṣe máa sọ lọ́dọ̀ tí wọn torí ẹ̀sìn olúkálukú ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Ìwà ní kọ́lọ́n tẹ́ wọn sáfẹ́fẹ́ rẹ lómi máa ní bóun ṣe máa sọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Ṣé yẹ ká gbọ́ fídíò yìí Instagram wa ti padà. Ok, èèyàn kan ń pè wá. Ìyàwó ẹni tó ń pè wá kí agbọ́n tó fi sọ. Hello. Ẹ káàsán sá o.
Hello.
Ẹ káàsán sá.
Hello.
À ń dá yín lóhùn.
Hello.
À ń dá yín lóhùn sẹ́ẹ̀. Má ṣe o. Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ló bí ẹ̀mẹ́ta ọ̀gbọ́n mi èmi ń gbọ́ wọn àwọn ọ̀gbọ́n mi. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká wo fídíò yìí ẹ jẹ́ mute mic mi mọ́lẹ̀ kó má máa ní interference. ẹni ẹ̀ tún pè padà náà mọ̀ tó fi dá sórí program ni à ń gbọ́ yín sẹ́ẹ̀ àwa ń gbọ́ yín ẹ káàsán.
mo ní ṣé ẹni sọ ìlú tó sọ fún wa ní Casamẹ́lẹ́ka.
Bíi kí ni sà?
ṣé ó wà arrest ni àbí just invite?
Ó wà invite ni, kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ arrest.
Okay.
Wọ́n invite ni, so and nobody have seen the video. Anybody seen the video of him in the court? Has anybody seen the picture? Níbo ló ti sọ pé òun ò ṣe prime minister? Gbogbo question yẹn àyè sọ ni ẹni yẹn tẹ̀tí lọ́n tí wọ́n gan sẹ̀. Bí àwọn àtàwọn kan jọ wá gé ni kò jẹ́ ń pé Koiki, mo ní nọ́mbà Koiki lọ́wọ́, kí ló ń ṣe yìí? Mo máa ń like táwọn èèyàn bá ń challenge àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ nílé, especially àwọn tó bá ní nọ́mbà mi. So bàbá wa Kẹ́hìndé Òsínì Sàlámì mo kí yín. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré lọ gbọ́ fídíò ìtòrí àsìkò.
Small part of a large empire, but by the war's end had declared independence and was fighting to keep it. Today, I'm going to look at...
Àbínú a máa yọ ọ̀rọ̀ nínú ẹ̀. Ta ló gbọ́ nǹkan tó kọ́kọ́ sọ ńbẹ̀ yẹn? They've declared independent and they are fight. A sọ pé fought. Torí ó ti di past oyin àwọn ìbò ńláńláńlá. So as the Biafra say they have declared, if they don't hold on to it, Tinubu will kick their ass. Á gbá ẹpọ̀n wọn, ó máa lé gbogbo wọn lọ. It's different to declare, there is different to pin it down and hold on to it for a very, very long time, not just for 6 months though. Because government is continuity. If Tinubu goes, another government will fight the Biafra. Ó dà pé ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tó yìnbó yẹn sọ, ẹ jẹ́ ká rewind it. So láàrin méjì, when they are talking, I can pause it and come in. Ẹ tó bá gbọ́ náà ẹ bá mi comment ẹ̀, ẹni Ọlọ́run dání, you fight to keep it. If the United States of Biafra say, we have done convention, we have done restoration, we are happy, and they are not fighting to keep it, they are not investing, they are not putting money down, because I'm hearing that they are not doing fundraising anymore. I don't know why you. You want to fight Nigeria? Nigeria where they use our oil, our mineral resources to buy weapons, buy Tucana Joy, buy helicopter Apache. You will fight to keep it. And this is the essence of Yoruba. Baba Akintoye declare. Oh yes, Baba Akintoye declare. Can we fight to keep it? Fight to keep it for as long as we can. Obama take it 10 years to keep it. We will keep it and chase everything known as Nigeria out of the territory. And that is why you gotta be strategic. And if you don't have money to do that, we push 2 million people out on the street, they will not be able to kill every one of us. It's possible. And how do we keep 2 million people out? By telling you about the history of the past and telling you that what is playing out in Nigeria has been played before in the history and on the spiritual realm. Because I'm a sort of spiritual lady. Because I listened to another spiritual realm of the situation. Gbogbo alati gbọ́ tí bàbá Ezekiel, the man of God, wọ́n ní bàbá yẹn ò sọ̀rọ̀, tó bá sọ̀rọ̀, So if you are one of those that say, ìdákan lè ṣẹlẹ̀, nothing go happen, make una dey play. Èmi náà orí pé mi náà play ní bíbá. Torí pé gbogbo àtàwọn lórí platform àjọ ń play ni. Ọlákúnlé ní it is simple to declare, it is another thing to defend it and defensive, vital part. And it needs a lot of money and strategic and partnership with countries that can help you. So it's not about, Baba Akintoye àti Gbowelo declare. You must be ready to fight to keep it. Fight ni o, F-I-G-H-T. Fight. Ẹ máa jà láti keep it. Bí Igboho bá jáde nísìnyí, yes, a lè pull 2 million rallies, but we must also be preparing for any eventualities. Because àmọ́ tí government máa ṣe. Wari Jinadu need many ways to achieve the Biafra government in exile is by deploy. Okay, I think I can learn. Because ẹlòmíì ò mọ tán pè ní freedom. Ó kọ̀ rò pé bí àkàrà tí ó máa ń rà lágbélé pẹ̀lú ẹ̀kọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sẹ́yìn ká lọ gbọ́n tí arákùnrin awọ ní padà sẹ́yìn o fídíò lásán o.
was a small part of a large empire. But
did you hear that? Was a small part in a large empire. Biafra can be a small part in Nigeria, but they will show Nigeria woto woto. Yoruba can be a small part in Nigeria, but they can even the Biafras know that Yoruba needs to go and declare because they know the importance of our declaration, the weight of it, the importance of it, the value of it. Torí tá bá declare pressure ti wà nìyẹn, which is right, but we must be strategic. Sọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ no. We're talking about serious situation that needs planning, that needs a lot, because tẹ́ bá ti sọ pé declare, kò tún sí nǹkan kan tẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀ declare mọ́. Ẹ bá ti declare, you defend it, you fight for it to keep it. Ó ṣe pé àwa declare, ọlọ́pàá kan ṣì wà ń wọṣọ ọlọ́pàá Nàìjíríà nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Irú declaration wo nìyẹn kẹ̀? Ẹ declare military barracks ṣì ń operate. Ẹ declare gbogbo báńkì ṣì ń sọ pé àwọn jẹ́ Nàìjíríà. Ẹ máa fún wọn ní ultimatum ni. In another 1 year, everything in that bank called Nigeria must be switched to Yoruba land in terms of their names. If not, ẹgbẹ́ kangbára yín kẹ́ máa gbé lọ síbi tí Nàìjíríà bá wà. Straight away, you tell international community that your airspace is no longer part of Nigeria. Before you land your aircraft, you must in touch with our government. If not, tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí aircraft ni ó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí nìyẹn. Insurance will go up because airline doesn't want to travel to that region anymore until there's stability. It involves a lot of things. It involves entity ilẹ̀ Igbo táwọn ẹ̀ṣin sọ pé kò tí dàbí pé ó ń push out, ó ń fẹ́ dàbí pé ó ti materialize, is because Lagos ni pointer ibi tí àwọn èèyàn ń wọ̀ as Nigeria. Ó dà pé ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí mo sọ. Lagos is the pointer and the Abuja and probably Port Harcourt. Tó bá di pé in tí wọ́n fà yìí tó bá gba sí tán fún Port Harcourt tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn rí pé àwọn òyìnbó máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń fojú sí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń lọ nílẹ̀. But I can tell you that all the embassies in Nigeria are preparing for contingency plan of eventualities, of the unknown, of what might happen or might not happen. Every embassy right now in Nigeria are preparing for any contingency plan. 17 minutes past 2 hours into the program. Let's go back and listen more.
by the war's end had declared independence and was fighting to keep it. Today, I'm going to look at the events that led up to that declaration of Finnish independence. I'm Indy Nidell. Welcome to a Great War special episode about Finland and the First World War. When the war began, Finland was part of the Russian Empire and had been for over a century. It had, though, had a largely autonomous status as the Grand Duchy of Finland, with the Tsar as the Grand Duke. By the late 19th century, Finland had its own currency, legislative senate and estates general, police force, postal service, and military. But the nation was a divided one. The government elite was mostly Swedish-speaking, and there were sharp class distinctions. Also, the majority of Finns had no representation in either the Senate or the Estates General.
Àtayébáyé ni wickedness ti wà. The Swedish, táwọn ṣọmọ Finland, àwọn gbádùn. Àwọn tó jẹ́ citizen wọ̀ fún wọn láyè. Is that not the same thing playing out in Yoruba land today? Àní bíbá láti máa kọ́ ọgbọ́n tá máa fi prepare mi wa pé a fẹ́ lọ lóòótọ́.
There were Finnish nationalists who, by then, viewed Russia as an oppressive.
There are many Yoruba nationalists who now view Nigeria as an oppressed regime. But àwọn kan ní it's not oppressed regime, Jagaban is there. As if Jagaban will be here for the next 50 years. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ Jagaban, mo kí ẹ má bí. Akushe takuntakun. The Yoruba nationalists who view Nigeria as an oppressed country by stealing our identity, our culture, are saying that we don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore. Yes, we have the right to still hold it. Some people say, well, but you still have the Nigerian passport. Yes, I have every right to hold it because we still don't have a country that will give me my passport. So what is the crime if I have a Nigerian passport? In the crime to one, it's still an identification which is recognized in this country and around the world. And if I need to use it, I need to get it. I need to have it. Is it a Nigerian passport you travel with it? Yes. Have I disputed that I was born here? I must have a Nigerian passport because it is still a recognized country under the United Nations as of today. But as soon as Yoruba has their country, I would apply for a Yoruba passport that would then be used to travel. Literate people, no understand nothing. Only one blocking, the world still recognize Nigeria. If they don't recognize Nigeria, they will not give Tinubu a state visit in France. He will not be traveling as our president to South Africa. But when we have Yoruba country, we will have our representative in South Africa. We will have our embassy around the world, and we will not have any reason to engage the Nigerian embassy again. Yes, people that are lucky to have got or gained other passports might not need a Nigerian passport to travel to Nigeria. All they need to get a visa because they are no longer nationality of that country. And we have many people like that that are carrying other international passports. So man, you are doing Yoruba nation, you shouldn't have Nigerian passport. No. If you can still hold on to it, because that is the only ID that you have, please hold on to it. And I'm talking to every one of us, including myself. Don't let anybody fool you. Hey, so must you have a Nigerian passport? Oh yes, because that is an identification to use to travel or to engage the government wherever you are around the world. Immigration is saying passport will not move on. Any Yoruba passport will not move on. Yoruba ti were recognized as a country or shortly declared. Even the Biafra that has that ID might not work in many countries today. But they are just having it as readiness for the next move of their government. Because they can't take that ID to America and say, this is our Biafra ID card. Take it. Make use of it. America will look at it and say, which country is this? United States of Biafra. They will type it in. They will say on Google. But they will say it is not yet recognized. By who? This is now the Biafra citizen asking the person when they look at the ID. Say, well, it's not been recognized by America. So this ID is not valid in this country. Yes, you can have it. Doesn't mean that it's valid for you to use in America, for you to use in Finland, for you to use in Canada. This is where a lot of work needs to be done for recognition. America about to recognize the United States of Biafra, that their ID become a valid identification in America. See, Canada about to recognize one, that becomes a valid identification that can use in Canada. And it goes on and on like that to other countries. I'm sure UK will never recognize them, at least for now. But they have to work with many countries that can recognize them. And the beauty of the world is that don't think that they need any big country to start with. That is the mistake people are doing. Oh, we need them to go and talk to Australia. No, let them talk to Togo, which is closer back home, that can give them military aid. If Togo recognize them, it's a plus. If Sierra Leone recognize them, it's a plus. And this is also for our Yoruba. That is why you have to come to international platform like this and listen. Hello, declare Yoruba nation. You need nothing less than 10 countries to recognize you that same day. Latest, not less than 3 months. Ìlú mẹ́wàá gbọ́dọ̀ recognize yín pé àwọn gbà pé lóòótọ́ Yoruba is a country. With official statement from their government, not the one where somebody go right under their bedroom. But people don't understand international politics. Orí bíbá ilẹ̀ ti máa kọ́gbọ́n. Go and declare. Yes, it's good to declare, but àwọn òlú tó ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ti fún wọn ní gbogbo all say pé ó yá ẹ lọ declare. Àwa máa bá kì í bí àmì tẹ́ bá declare tán ló máa yọ̀sẹ̀. Because Tinubu àti Nigerian government lówó lọ́wọ́. Wọ́n lè náà máa fún wọn lépo for the next 100 years. Even tí Tinubu bá sí ìjọba mọ́, contract yẹn ṣì wà nílẹ̀. Kí lẹ rò pé gbogbo tó ń pè ní government wọ́n fi mineral resources wa wọ́n fi enrich ìlú míì láti suppress citizen. And that is why it's either we go the M1 so that a bá ti bọ́ sórí M1 tí gbogbo nǹkan máa fi ní ètò kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa burú tó máa sórí M1 yẹn gbogbo exit point a máa block ẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa exit àjọ máa wà lórí M1 yẹn àjọ máa lọ in out láàrin méjì yẹn ni o bọ̀ pé èèyàn kan fẹ́ yọ ó máa sá lọ yẹn a máa block ẹ̀ torí tó bá travel lórí M1 àwọn exit point wà tó bá drive after many miles gbogbo ẹ̀ la máa block kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa exit torí ẹni tó bá exit ó lè lọ jẹ́ ọ̀dàlẹ̀ fún wa gánṣẹ́. Some of you don't know what freedom entails. So tí bàbá bá wá ń ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn underground negotiation lẹ́tà tí olóyè gbé lọ ó fún wọn ní bàbá concern because kò sẹ́ni tó mọ ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́tà yẹn tó máa já sí. Lẹ́tà rèé ó ti di wàhálà síjọba lọ́rùn ìjọba ń tọ́lé wọ́n ń yàgbẹ́ sára. And this is why we are saying to our people, woto. So lẹ́ǹkan sẹ́yìn yan wa, the job is not yet finished until it is finito. One letter, many bullets ló wà nínú ẹ̀. Imagine tí lẹ́tà ìbá jáde content ẹ̀ bá tó wá jáde ságbáyé but kò lè jáde torí confidential ni. Nǹkan pè ní confidential ó gbọ́dọ̀ remain confidential. Tó bá ní confidential kò ń ṣe tó máa jáde sí gbogbo àgbáyé. Ṣé jẹ́ ká padà lọ sí Finland báwo ló ṣe gba independent wọn. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa the Finnish nationalists. Àwọn ló ń pè ní nationalists àwọn tó wà proud of who they are. Àwa ìrànmọ́ aládé àwa là ń gẹ́ fìlà àwa là ń máa pa òwe àwa ọkọ̀ mọ̀wé pa ni. Mo kí ẹ Dizzy Man 123. Once in a century strategic Yoruba nation self-determination movement. A petition letter by Professor ADEBANJI Akintoye was delivered by Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo to the British Prime Minister on the 12th day of October 2024 at exactly 1400 hours. La wọnúlé. Wọ́n jẹ́ ká wọlé a minute before. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ exact 1400 hours. Gbogbo nǹkan ló ní history. History tá à ń kà lénìí tá à ń sọ fún yín nípa Finland ní 19 ọdún tó gba independent wọn. Nígbà tó bá di ọjọ́ kan náà tí kò ní pẹ́ mọ́ àwọn kan náà á máa fi tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa náà pàtàn. Ìtàn là ń pa tàwọn kan là ń pa nísìn. Gbogbo ìtàn tá à ń pa ti Finland nísìn is just under 107 years. Kódà ẹ imagine pé tó bá yẹ pé Yorùbá ò wà embedded pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà with 110 years ilẹ̀ Yorùbá dàbí Finland ó máa dájú Dubai lọ ó máa sùn ju UK lọ torí kò sẹ́ni tó máa wá gbé níbí báyìí. But àtàrà pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Yorùbá ní àṣeyọrí lọ́ṣẹ̀ kó mọ́ Nàìjíríà ní 1914 because tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n join ẹ̀ mọ́ Nàìjíríà ni we will be far better than Finland and we would have become 110 years Yorùbá nation or Oduduwa Republic Yorùbá kingdom. Kò ń ṣe inú Nàìjíríà tá a ṣe sọ pé ó ti expire ẹja kúrò àwọn kan tún náà kúrò because kò yé wọn. Wọ́n ní understanding ẹlòmíì kan open Instagram ó kàn open Instagram ni o Koiki kí ló ń sọ wọ́n ti fi Yorùbá nation kówó jẹ ibi tó yé mọ́ nìyẹn ibi tí làákàyè yé mọ́ nìyẹn. Mo kí yàrá Olúwakẹ́ Olúgẹ̀ Idris mo kí yín sá ẹ káàbọ̀ Stephen Ọ̀párakù mo kí ẹ Jimmy Koya, good afternoon, sir. Mo kí ìyàwó mi dáadáa. Ìyàwó Oòduà. Àníṣe ìrìn àjò yìí ó nídìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àlàyé ṣíṣe kó lè bá penetrate wọnú medulla oblongata ẹ. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí wa o. Ajú wa ṣe ọpẹ́ mo kí ẹ dáadáa. Mo kí àwọn tíìmù wa. Mo kí èèyàn tiwa Kazo Studio. Mo ti rí mẹ́sẹ̀jì ẹ̀ máa ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí láìpẹ́. Let's move further. À ń ṣe ń sọ nípa ìtàn àwọn Finland bó ṣe gba independent kúrò lára Russia, bí Russia ṣe lágbára tó, bó ṣe ní kìmí tó, gbogbo ẹ̀ dissolve ní 1980 tó ń pè ní Soviet Union. So you are now thinking that because Nigeria is where it is right now, it cannot dissolve. When Russia was as powerful as it is, it break into many multiple republics. One of them is Finland, and many of them are still right there. Muki Bale. Idris says, and I quote, Oyinbo dealt with our mental health so much. Kazo Sudoni, how are you, Koiki? Alafia Namowa, brother me. So it's different to shout Yoruba nation. It's different for you to need understanding the nitty-gritty. And that's what we do here, the nitty-gritty. No. Ariwo pẹ̀lú sense ni. Níṣẹ́ àwọn tó lọ jókòó sórí TikTok tán ń dájọ́ náà ariwo pẹ̀lú sense. So let's move swiftly forward.
Regime. But as long as Finland enjoyed its continued autonomy, most people were content with Russian rule, and the nationalist question wasn't so much about independence as it was the nature of Finland's relationship to Russia. Was it in a union with Russia? Was it a vassal state?
What union do we have with Nigeria? Àjọṣepọ̀ wo ni Yorùbá ní pẹ̀lú Nigeria? That is a question the Finnish were asking, in that era, in 1918. But what is our relationship with Russia? Ṣé agbọ́ Russia ni? Ṣé ẹ̀yà kan náà ni wá ni? Are we the same? Do we love them? Oh no, Koiki, I don't marry Igbo woman. And for that reason, I don't want Yoruba nation. I don't want Igbo nation. I want us to remain Nigeria. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. And that is not an excuse for you. Ibi tó ti rí love ló lọ mú love ẹ wá. Kódà Yoruba people are falling in love with Buhari after he left. Let's move swiftly.
Province. However, a change came when Nicholas II became Tsar of Russia in 1894.
Èèyàn kan ló máa dìde, èèyàn kan ló máa takú, tó máa sọ pé no. Kazo Studio sọ pé English language is not belong to Yoruba kingdom because it's a borrowed language. Èdèlédè ni. Nicholas yìí dé ní 1868. Ó ní ìrìn àjò àwa àti Russia a máa end there, and Finland became independent, and they are celebrating independence today 107 years later. Bàbá Akintoye dìde. Bàbá Akintoye dìde. Ó ní ìrìn àjò àwa àti Nàìjíríà yìí ò lọ bó ṣe jẹ́ kó lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá dìde. Ọmọ Yorùbá ní náà Tinubu la prefer. I love Tinubu. Bàbá Akintoye náà nífẹ̀ẹ́ Tinubu, kò bínú sí Tinubu. Wọ́n ní bàbá Akintoye ti endorse Tinubu. Ẹlòmíì kò ní understanding kankan, but kò pé gbà òtítọ́ torí wọ́n ní òtítọ́ korò. I know many diaspora nísìn tó ń gbé ní abroad. Tó bá ní kọ́kọ́ ṣeré lọ sí Finland, á sáré lọ torí ó ní British passport. Ó ti gbàgbé pé ìyà kan táwọn kan ń jẹ làwa náà fi gbà yà. A fẹ́ kọ ìyà yẹn, a dẹ̀ máa kọ̀ lágbára Jésù Kristi ní gbogbo ibi tó ti kí ó túbà ní gbogbo àgbáyé lénìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ̀. a máa ṣe nítorí ẹ̀ka ṣe mú bọ̀.
See, that period was a period of nationalism everywhere, not just Finland. And in Russia, many pan-Slavic activists, military leaders, and bureaucrats were dissatisfied with Finland's special status. That, along with a string of reforms aimed to unify the empire, brought tensions to a head by the end of the century. And, supervised by Nikolai Bobrikov, Governor General of Finland, Tsar Nicholas began to limit Finnish autonomy with a program of gradual Russification. The ruble was introduced alongside the Finnish mark. Russian language use was increased in administration and education. Restrictions were removed on Russian financial activity in Finland. On February 15, 1899, Nicholas issued his February Manifesto, which declared that Finland's Estates General was now only an advisory body. In response, Finnish activists organized an address to the Tsar. This gathered more than 500,000 names from a population of 3 million, and though Nicholas never received it, it sparked the Finnish masses into political activism. The threat against autonomy united the bickering language groups, the radicals, the conservatives, and the socialists. In 1901, Nicholas issued a new conscription law, which disbanded Finnish army units and ordered Finnish men to be drafted into the Russian army. This sparked a lot of passive resistance, but also some riots in 1902.
Bó bá tẹ gbọ́n ìbò tó ń sọ látẹ̀ nǹkan, ó ṣáà ń gbọ́ riot, 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 Koiki ń gbógun bọ̀ o, Koiki máa dáwà 1902, àwọn èèyàn ti ń riot, àwọn èèyàn ti ń resist kankan pé no, ọ̀nà tẹ́yìn ṣe yìí kò lọ bó ṣe yẹ kó lọ. Ayọ̀ Akínmokíyí. Baálẹ̀ ni majority of our people doesn't know history, so that is one of the major problems. Ṣẹ́ni tẹ́bi ń pa màmá history. Philip Pate Mokiyi, Olamilekan Mokiyi. This is the platform that you need to come and listen. So when people are talking about, oh, no, nobody is violent here. That is why we are saying, look, this is it. Mo ń try láti wá copy lórí software mi kí n lè show yín. Nigeria needs now the courage to dissolve peacefully. If not, hey, Tinubu, we love you. And we will always love you. But do you love yourself? Because ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀, it needs a lot of peace. Ó need ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ sùúrù. Àmọ́ àwọn tí ẹ ti pushi. Ẹ rántí bàbá pásítọ̀ kan mọ̀ mọ́bí tí fídíò yẹn wà. Ó ní negotiate now. Negotiate now. Because there will be a point you want to negotiate. Wọ́n náà wọ́n negotiate. Do you think that the Biafra will negotiate now? Pé àwọn ò lọ mọ́. It's a question. Do you think that people that have made up their mind will then reverse it and say, yeah, sorry, okay, all right, okay, we'll become president. Oh, thank you. We don't want anymore. Even Nnamdi Kanu bá sọ pé òun ò ṣe mọ́, Biafra máa sọ fún pé kó tọ́ sọ. Problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ẹ ṣé bàbá mi Ayọ̀ Aro Akin, Olódùmarè kí gbogbo yín wá. Bó bá àwọn Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, go jáde and say, I am not doing Biafra anymore. His people will say, toss off. We are going. Because they want to go home. Their home is their ancestral land that was converted to what is known as Nigeria, and same goes to every single one of us. So what we are listening to is just a bit of history of how Finland gained their independence, that people have sparked a lot of perceived resistance, but also some riot in 1902. Nigeria ò tí exist as far back then. Or the history without library, history without history, teacher or school, twisted history. Today, history is without electronics. Kaso Studio sọ pé we as Yoruba Kingdom is like operating system since the creator have input inside our body as Yoruba language. Lukman Kalen now, Muki, very good afternoon. Let's go back and listen more. You're still on Koiki Media Network.
In response to that, Bobrikov received dictatorial powers in 1903. He was murdered in 1904, though, the most famous political murder in Finnish history, and his killer, Eugen Schauman, became a national hero. Period had been a period of steady economic growth for Finland. The population had nearly doubled between 1870 and 1914, and it did industrialize, though the vast majority of the population still worked some form of agricultural labor. But with the rise...
You know where all this was going on? Yoruba land was civilized. Look at the kind of lifestyle that they were living there. Some of them were pooing. Even in the UK, wọ́n wá ìta ló ti máa ń yàgbẹ́. Báwa náà ṣe wá ń rí nísìnyí pé báwo làwọn èèyàn ṣe ń yàgbẹ́ níta àwa tá wà civilized. Báwo làwọn èèyàn ṣe ní toilet. Bàbá kan lọ yàgbẹ́ ní bíi 2 years ago. Bí ejò àbí kankan lọ́nà gèjẹ nídìí. People that are civilized are now becoming people that are not civilized anymore. How? Where? We are 20 minutes out of the program. Mukibabawa Ade Odundada.
Rise of industrial capitalism came a workers' movement, and the Social Democratic Party, SDP, formed in 1899 and advocated for wider political representation and class warfare. In 1905, after Russia's loss in the Russo-Japanese War, a series of strikes sprang up all over the empire, and a Finnish general strike was called, very nationalistic in nature. Class divides were a major issue, and when the right-wing Finnish government thought it might lose authority, it funded the founding of a National Guard.
Do you know the meaning of National Guard? You don't equip people with weapons. People will get weapons will massacre every one of you. Thank you so much, Mr. Idris. They started funding. Did you hear the word funding or founded? Well, it might lose authority. It funded the founding of the National Guard. Ṣé ẹ̀yin Yorùbá, ṣé ní warrior? Ṣé ẹ̀yin dáwọ́ warrior? Ṣé ẹ̀yin dáwọ́ sí ní tí wọ́n pè ní warrior? Ẹ mọ̀ tán pè warrior. One AK-47 is about 500 pounds. Tó bá ń ṣe, ó máa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Jimoh Razak, Yoruba Nation not going back. Mumuni Oseni, we are just 20 minutes to the end of this program. We need you 3 hours long. Philip Carter say, ẹ kú ètò bàbá mi White Lion. Ilé gbóná ní Nàìjíríà. It remains small láti rú sókè. Àwọn tó ní ọpọlọ nìyẹn. You know when something is cooking, it's cooking, it's cooking, it's cooking. You do not go and check it. You left it there. After it has cooked, it start drying. It start drying. The pot start becoming hot. You don't go and check it. Hey, there is fire on the mountain. Run. President Tinubu, please speak and dialogue now. I just wanted to be on record that I came out and told him to please dialogue now. Let's leave the video. So let me give you my full face because if you want to watch the video, go on YouTube after the program. Let's come back to the program. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please dialogue now. It is the only way and the option. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello, good day from your own side.
Hello, who is on the line?
is one of the Biafra from Nigeria.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's hear you briefly.
Okay. Okay. Please, I want to buy Nigerian Bitcoin.
No, you have to go. You have to go and visit your government website where you'll be able to find all the information.
Please, can you send me the information on my WhatsApp so that I can follow the link?
All right, I'll do so after the program. Thank you. All right. These are people that wants to key into their government. The Biafra needs a lot of work to do. And this is what doesn't surprise you. Hey, let's declare. You go and declare. People in Ojuelegba doesn't even know you have declared. Everybody must then know that declaration has happened. So the Biafra has a lot of work to do. And we must learn as we are looking at the development of things. So as I'm winding down from here, I'm pleading again to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Omoluduode to dialogue now. You might not like it. You might not be pleased that the people that we have lived together for 110 years say they are leaving. I know it is not something that their governors want, but if we don't dialogue now, it can end up to the situation where it will be too late. So let me use the last few minutes to quickly read again part of what we read, from the Nigeria needs now the courage to dissolve. Sorry, I don't have the screen to show you. I'll probably find it and then I can show you some other time. So I'm just going to pick from somewhere. By doing these things, the British essentially placed a death sentence on Nigeria. The Fulani were one of the Nigeria's smallest peoples, only about 6 million in the northern region, where a non-indigenous people had no homeland in Nigeria or anywhere, were part of the Fulani people that were scattered all over the West Africa, consisted mostly of nomadic cattle herders, were the least educated people in Nigeria and the least delirious of modern education, and were the least capable of leading a modern country along modern lines. Lacking an understanding of the nature of a modern country, the Fulani decided immediately at independence that they were meant to be the new colonial overlords of Nigeria. Nigeria's sad journey tours began through endless falsifications and manipulations of political process, falsification of census, destruction of the federation through centralization, all power and resources control, destruction of regional and local initiatives in economic attempts to suppress Western education, prohibition of the teaching of history in Nigerian schools, to rob the indigenous peoples the knowledge of their history, rancor and acrimony, bluntly rig and violently protest elections, inter-people conflict, pogroms, civil war, religious violence. Fulani use of military force for an attempt to conquer all of Nigeria's indigenous peoples, serious economic decline, Fulani invitation to other West African Fulani to come and help conquer in Nigeria indigenous peoples, Fulani attraction of international terrorist groups to help the Fulani conquest, a destructive push to turn Nigeria to a Muslim country by violence, vicious insecurity, rivers of blood, economic collapse to the now inevitable breakup. The earliest Fulani adventure to expand their control over all of Nigerian future, a serious plot started even before independence and covertly assisted by the British. To use federal power to crush the Western region, Nigeria's leader and pace setter in development, because the Western region was strong and wanted true independence for Nigeria. The plot finally hatched in 1962-65, destroyed the Western region of Nigeria development progress, but then it dragged down Nigerian security and provoked the first military coup in 1966.
From then on, there followed a long succession of military coups and military dictatorship until 1999. With only a brief civilian interlude in 79 to 83, the military dictators recklessly destroyed the federal principle in favor of centralization. The military dictators from July 1966, on being all northerners, pushed for further and further centralization and northern Fulani dominance. This provoked resistance and bloody conflict, pogroms, and an attempt by the Igbo-led eastern region to secede from Nigeria in 1967. The attempt started a 30-month civil war from 1967 to 1970, which took over 5 million lives from the Igbo people. As if to wipe off this self-imposed disaster, mineral oil began in the early 70s to boost Nigerian economy strengthening by making phenomenal amount of money available to Nigerian development. Nigerian prospects were so rosy by the late 1970s that some patriotic Nigerians embarked on putting together a dazzling program of a development for Nigeria. Some of the youthful intellectuals in this group even believed that they could make Nigeria the black man's world power of modern times. But Nigeria lacked the unity, the cohesiveness, and the orderly political and economic life necessary for such great accomplishment. A manipulated election in 1979 and another that was bluntly rigged and violently protested in 1983 shut down those who were proudly talking of making Nigeria black man world power. Another military coup came in December 1983, led by another northern military officer. From then on, rather than grow in prosperity and power, Nigeria entered into a process of translate Fulani grabbing of control of unrelented centralization of political power, resources control, development management, and the most rabid culture of public corruption in the world. The management and the northern Fulani control became so total that one of the military dictators felt free in 1993 to announce a completed and peaceful presidential election without giving any reason for his action. Another felt free to arrest and imprison the winner of the election and then to institute a murderous reign of terror to stop popular reaction. And yet, another unilaterally imposed a constitution on Nigeria by decree in 1999. The Nigerian culture of impunity, public corruption has grown so mightily since then, it has earned Nigeria year after year the assessment as the most corrupt country in the world. Since 2018, Nigeria has been classified as the #1 home of extreme poverty in the world. The succeeding northern military dictator from 1985 to 1999, serving the purpose of centralization and of Fulani control of power and resources, rammed down their system irremediably. In spite of Nigeria's hundreds of nationalities, Nigeria lost federalist direction and became simply a country under complete control of a central government, family controlled by mostly illiterate Fulani nationality. Nigerian central government became an instrument for managing not Nigerian development, but for managing Nigerian titanic and complex culture of public corruption. In the end, the Nigerian Fulani political elite, intoxicated by all these great success of theirs in politics of Nigeria and by continued covert British support, embarked upon a pre-modern and primitive ambition to employ violence to conquer all other nations of Nigeria and turn their homeland into a large Fulani homeland. The outside world, lacking an understanding of this bizarre political turn in Nigeria, wrongly saw it as a development arising simply from climate change, from the coming of the prolonged drought in the West African Sahel and Sudan from the 90s. The consequence of bearing of Fulani cattle herders southward into the forest territories in search of grass for their cattle, and therefore intensified conflict between farmers and cattle herders in Nigeria. But this is not the true explanation of what has been happening in Nigeria. The drought did not force cattle herders to belt south in all countries of West Africa, but what happened in Nigeria did not happen in any other country of West Africa. What happened in Nigeria is that, to repeat the small Fulani political elite, enormous embodying by their great success in the politics of Nigeria, by the continued British covert support, decided to turn the masses of distressed Fulani cattle herders into a mass army, conquering the homeland of all the peoples of Nigeria, a Fulani homeland. As soon as the Fulani leader, Muhammadu Buhari, was elected in 2015, the Fulani seriously commenced their plan to conquest of Nigeria. For the next 8 years under President Buhari, Fulani cattle herders and militia, indoctrinating with their message that Allah had given the whole of Nigeria to the Fulani for Fulani homeland, and heavily armed with sophisticated modern weapons, mostly AK-47 rifles, spread all over the south and middle belt of Nigeria, destroying or burning farms, farmsteads, and villages, uprooting and destroying root crops, burning the tree crops, killing farmers, farmers' wives, children, wiping out the inhabitants of a whole villages, raping and killing women, killing children on their way to and from school. For the kidnap, can all this happen in America and UK and Canada and France and Germany? Is a question. President Muhammadu Buhari administration never said a word against this Fulani outrage, and the federal agent, police, military, secret service mostly ignored the widespread cries of agony and death. It inevitably became obvious to all harassed Nigerians that the government had ordered its employees not to interfere with the Fulani killers and destroyers, and that Buhari's presidency was covertly assisting the Fulani conquest. There is no official estimate of Nigerians killed by the Fulani in Buhari's years because the government had no interest in such. But according to an unofficial estimate, as many as 29,000 Yoruba people were killed in the Yoruba homeland. Mostly Yoruba farmers have abandoned their farming altogether, and traditional Yoruba agriculture economy has been destroyed. As President Tinubu was being sworn in May 29, 2023 to succeed President Buhari, greatly confident armies of Fulani destroyers and killers were waiting for him. They were sitting on the enormous amount of Nigerians' money. And I have evidence to back what Akintoye said there quickly before we wind it down. Everything I've said here has what we call a backing from those that spoke to the Fulani criminals that are committing all these atrocities and crime. But many Yoruba people still say it cannot happen. And I keep wondering how. Listen to this.
Which is it for you, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, how would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network.
During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
As I bring the program to an end, let's take up the last comment coming through on Oha. Says Nigeria lack unity, ? Unity with Takia. Bale, we have no fund to the movement. Physically, spiritually, please. We need money. Oluwaseun Ajayi, I laugh when people say, why can't we declare Yoruba nation independence? Some people don't know anything. Oluwaseun Ajayi went further to say, without money, the movement is going nowhere. Yawa Modupeni, Mokio, the white lion. Ekushe takuntakun, eku ataro, Ọlọ́run ọba á máa wà pẹ̀lú ẹ o láṣẹ Èdùmàrè. Well done, our hero, Akintoye Oòduà. This man says, the international community can't turn a blind eye because over 29,000 Yoruba people have been eliminated. Mr. Pab says they fight this man, I believe he's talking about the late Malafia, because of these. Adebayo Ajala ni Koiki Ekweto, Yoruba nation not going back. Tinubu dialogue now. There is fire on the mountain. Aberejo Samson said, good afternoon, my brother. We're almost end. One man went to mow. A very good afternoon. I saw you late in the middle of the night. It looks like you are creepy. Running your program very, very late. I wanted to listen, but I was too tired, but I saw you online. Thank you so much. Ekushe Egbomi. Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Ọlámilékan Olúwaṣẹ́ sọ pé Yorùbá nation not going back. And I believe I've touched on everyone's comment. Falepe Peter says, and I quote, what I say Yoruba language is the ground in Nigeria is boiling and hotter. It remains small to explode. And it's also begging Babawa Ààrẹ Tinubu ẹ pé àpérò tó yẹ now kí a lè ṣe gbogbo àtúnṣe tó yẹ ká ṣe before it is too late. We love Tinubu. I always say I don't pray for his death. A lot of people call me and say they pray for his death. I don't pray for his death. But I hope that Tinubu will do the needful between the Biafra, the agitators, those that wants to leave, and dialogue now before it is too late. I might come back late in the night, as you all know, but for now, it's been 3 hours exactly. We started with the first hour on the Star Radio. If all goes as it's still planned, we have the COS, chief of staff of the Biafra government in exile, Ngozi, that will speak to us on the Star Radio network on Monday, God willing. Thank you so much, Mr. Koiki. Be of the one man went move. Well, everybody will always be aware of somebody. It's somebody I know. I've been on his platform for an interview, but like I always say, I don't trust anybody anyway. I only trust my wife, my children, and my mom. Probably maybe one or two others. But the most important thing is one man more is doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. But as a media, I still have to recognize him, regardless of what anybody say. But again, I don't have anything more than I greet him here. It's not like, Ansholoro, but Egbon mi ni wọ́n. So, really one good day. Thank you so much. Mo kí Princess Gbadebo. Ẹ má gbàgbé, ó dùn láti wò wá, but owó ni a máa fi ṣe. Tí a bá rí iná lò nínú ilé, a lè ṣe program o. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń fún wa kò ní tán níbẹ̀ o. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá ń fún wa náà, ẹ máa rántí pé ilé-iṣẹ́ yìí ó ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìrànlọ́wọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá ní, ẹ máa fi àdúrà ran èmi àti mọ̀lẹ́bí mi lọ́wọ́ pé Koiki, ọwọ́ ọ̀tá kò ní mú ẹ, ọwọ́ ayé ò ní kún ẹ o. Gbogbo àwọn tó bá ń pètò pé mímú ló máa fi mú ẹ, wọ́n ní rí ẹ mú o. Èmi náà ni àbúrò yín, olólùfẹ́ yín, ìyàwó mi a máa ní ọkọ ìyá àwọn Oòduà. Thank you so much, everyone, on all the platforms. To my Biafrans, we love you. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Yẹmí Fátókì, mo níṣẹ́ a máa nífẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo yín kú ni bá ṣe nífẹ̀ẹ́ olóyè Ìgbòho. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí Friday Godwin, shout out to you. Olúwaṣeun Ìtùnú, mo kẹ́yìn sisters mi. It is very hard in Nigeria. Please do not go into any kind of prostitution. Mo bẹ̀ yín ni. ọmọ mẹ́fà ló ń wá ní Lagos, 5 and 6 ní Lekki àti Ritual. Yoruba people are involved in Ritual. Other people are in there, but I know Yorubas are the ones that are mostly involved. And this is the time that they renew their covenant. And on that note, have a blessed Friday ahead. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I'll be doing my own little thing at the background until I come back to you all. Thank you so much. I pray, and my prayer is Tinubu will be the last president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But it will involve a lot of work. I'm just looking for the Yoruba anthem to close the network here. This is Koiki Media, bringing the work closer to your doorstep. Yoruba, ẹ jẹ́ ká come together. I'm listening to all the voice coming from the Dupe Onitiri's team. Dupe has nothing to offer. We've told you that from the day one. Motowa. So if you're still one of those that think, look, Koiki, you can come back, do what you need to do with the movement here and support it however. But the bashing sọ pé kò lè bọ́ sí, ó máa bọ́ sí. Well, even there was an audio that was released. Maybe some of you have listened to it. I don't know how true it is. I was told that Ijile Marcos' wife died. I don't know how true that is. It was Queen Bee that said it in one of the audio. Tibo, I don't know. I met Ijile too, I think about 3 years ago when I went to Turkey. Well, if they are still supporting Dupe Onitiri, they are wasting their time and their effort because Dupe Onitiri has nothing to offer, and it is also shameful that many diaspora are still buying into the nonsense that she's talking about. Oh, to declare, Ọlọ́run ti gba Nigeria kúrò lọ́wọ́ Nigeria, ó ti wà lọ́wọ́ òun nísìn, òun lọ́lọ́run rán, àti all those nonsense talk. Gbogbo yẹn ò já wa o. But tó bá ṣì ń jẹ́ yín, good luck to you. Bye for now. Mo kí Ṣẹ́gun Honorable mo ṣẹ̀rí inú tó jẹ́ mẹ́ta ààrẹ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi náà ti Woolwich, mo kí Fágbémiléké, mo kí brother mi Abiodun George, just spot you there. Ẹni tí ìbá dárúkọ bí a mo rí kọ́mẹ́ǹtì yín ẹ má fi ṣèbínú. Yabani, yes, I watched your visit to Turkey when you met Ijile. I don't know, but it is not too late. Fáwọn tó wà ní ending kan fall back sẹ́yìn. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí o. And that is how far I can take now. Bye for now. Ó tún di later pẹ̀sẹ̀pẹ̀sẹ̀ tí àbájáde ní bí a ní alẹ́ láti ṣe more program. Festus, thank you so much. God bless us. God bless everyone. Bye for now.